I had it scheduled for that long. What the hell? I had the show scheduled way wrong. All right, what's going on, guys? You already know this is Gordon Knockout 494. Kim Leak back here again with another podcast. No draft today. Just shooting the breeze, chatting it up. I wanted to at least get something on here for you guys. I want to be a little consistent. So I got two guests who are usually on my draft today, Kyron, Mountie. We'll just pretty much shoot the breeze, kind of go with the flow, see what topics we talk about. We talk about pretty much anything, really. It doesn't have to be wrestling related. It can be wrestling related if you guys want to. It could be about movies, about anything. But the last show we did, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I believe, maybe a little bit over 2 weeks ago. But since then, what's been going on with you guys? What have you guys been up to?
Well, my new job's going well for one. Life in general is fine. Besides having a messed up hand, as you can see, but I'm doing good.
Is this your first job, Kyron?
No, it's not. It is not.
What did you do before Walmart?
I worked at Rita's for a few weeks. Hated it. Through Youth Works, which is something they have set up here in Baltimore that gives young people jobs. I worked on a farm for 2 summers.
What did you do there?
Planted things, swept. Because of my allergies, I couldn't really take care of the animals. So I planted, swept, watered plants every day, things like that.
Nice. My first job, I think, I'm trying to remember. Well, I mean, I was an umpire for baseball. That was my first, job that I did when I was 14, just get some money in the summertime and stuff like that. And then I left that, or I kept doing it for a while, but then I said, okay, I should probably get a more consistent sort of job, because umpire was okay, a couple hours here, a couple hours here. And the problem with that was I'd only get paid twice in the summer. I would get a paycheck halfway through, around, I don't know, mid-July or whatever. And then I would get one at the end, and not even at the end. It was it felt like it was September. So you're not really, mind you, I'm 14, I'm living at home. I don't have any expenses, but, don't really have any money to kind of go out and do anything in my summer. So I said, screw this. I think when I was 18, I started working in kind of I guess, I don't know what you guys call it, a convenience store, I suppose. Is that what it? Where you go get a bag of chips, soft drinks. What do you guys call that?
I call it a corner store whenever it's on the corner.
Corner store. Yeah. So I worked at a corner store not too far from my house. And then it's crazy. It just blew up. I had 3 jobs at once. I was working in a dog kennel, or a dog and cat kennel. And I was working at the corner store, and then I was working doing it was called MPI Research, and it was this company that basically I was doing telesurveys. So back in the day, I'd call these you never know, I might have spoke to Malik's grandma, you never know. You can't call and be like, hey, so there's new medication on the market. We're just taking some surveys and stuff like that. Hey, so have you lost any weight in the last year? Okay, on average, how much did you lose, or how much did you gain? And people, trust me, man, people would take my calls, and I would get paid by the call, and I would gather all that data, and then they were using it for research on a new drug to try to lose weight or something like that. And yeah, so anyways, that's what I did. What about you, Malik?
The old corner stores, we call them mini marts down here where I'm from.
Mini marts?
Mini marts.
Like the Quickie Mart.
Mini marts or corner stores can be any name, but mini mart, corner store, usually go to.
All right.
My first job though was at Meyer in the back unloading trucks. Unloading trucks for a grocery store, which was terrible. I hated it so much. I worked there
for a jigger, electronic jigger, or a forklift.
No, it was you basically unload the groceries and unload the other stuff that brings in the store, and I probably did that. Man,
how did you take the pallets out?
I actually do that. That's actually one of the things I do at my job.
Oh, you do with the what they call it?
It's called a pallet jack.
Yeah.
Oh, we call it a jigger. Okay.
We do. It's called a power. We call it we do it with the power jack, but
we call it a pallet jack.
I probably did that. Probably did that for maybe I don't know, like 3 months. I got fired. That's like 3 months, bro. I couldn't.
Oh man, funny story about using the pallet jack. This happened just the other day. This is me being a dumbass because I pumped it so much. When it came out the truck, it came flying, and I'm trying to pull it.
It's down.
In the truck, it came down out the truck. And the thing is, because where it wasn't a back, that's where a lot of cases of water are stuck. So it's coming down so fast. Now I'm not getting in the way. I'm not getting run over. I already got a messed up hand. I'm not going to mess my whole body up. I kind of move out the way trying to stop it. The pallet jack goes right into the case of waters and cracks open one of the waters.
Oh my god!
And the worst part is it got stuck in one of the bottles. So it took me about 5 minutes to pull the pallet jack off of the waters.
Oh yeah.
Myself.
I believe you. I used to work in a grocery store, so I had all kinds of different jobs, right? And I worked in a grocery store for 2 years, from 2008 to 2010, and interesting times. Not an easy job. Not an easy job at all. Always going, always something to do, whatever. Very, very taxing, very demanding, and whatever. Anyhow, so kind of similar story to you. One time, I think we're bringing down. I don't know if it was electronic power jack or a manual one, either one. We're bringing it down the truck, and it kind of got away from us. On the top, it hit the roof because the door, right? The garage, the door of the truck, it was kind of slanted a little bit down. So the top of the pallet, it was really wrapped super high, and it kind of got snagged on it, and the pallet went one way, and the rest of the stock went the other way. And on top of it was a case of olive oil. So that went all over the truck. You know how dangerous that is for like if you have power jacks, especially electronic ones, like your wheels are like going all over. They're spazzing. So it's like super, super dangerous. So just if that ever happens, I mean, obviously, like maybe for you now, Kyron, if that ever happens with you, one way to absorb it is get the cat litter. You get cat litter and then you put it on the oil, and then that way you could at least work around it, and you could work on top of it after. It's kind of like sand or something, So if that ever happens, and people are like, shit, what do we do? Just get cat litter and put it around. Super random conversation we're having. I love it.
One of the most annoying things that and this has happened more than once, so I can't say it's the one. It happened a lot. Is when, mind you, we have to the section I work in, we have to unload both dairy and frozen stuff, because even though I'm in the dairy and dairy section, we got to take the frozen stuff to the freezer. This pissed us off. This happened about 2 or 3 times. What the trucking company doesn't really stop the trucks, and according to what stores he's gonna stop at. So we went about 2 or 3 times before we've had to unload stuff that wasn't in our stores, take it out of the truck and put it to the side just to get our stuff, and then stop it back in the truck. You know how angry we were. And going into the freezer, that's a whole nother level of hard, because you got to get in the freezer and turn it around. Because mind you, I work in a freezer too, but I work in like the one with the milk in it, so it's cold, but it's not,
the fridge. Yeah, you work in the fridge.
But it's a freezer next to it, and it's icing on the floor. Yeah,
sure, I agree.
So you said you worked. Monty, you said you worked there when 2008, 2010.
Yeah.
God, I was in middle school then. Yeah, that was a long time ago for me.
Great.
I was 22, I think, or something like that.
I was in
23. Sorry, go ahead. 23, 25 or something like that.
2008, I would have been 11.
I was 8.
No, it was nuts, man. Like I remember, like in that 2008, working there, and then the following year, that's actually right around the time where I got back into wrestling. I got back into wrestling in 2007. I took a big hiatus from wrestling. Like I stopped watching, because a lot of people around here stopped watching like around right after the Attitude Era.
I was gonna say Screwjob.
Don't start. Don't get it.
I'm feeling pretty calm today, so we'll be all right.
Bro, I was being serious because like I said, the dudes that I talked to, like when I told you the guy I went to school with, he was from Canada. Like I was talking about his dad. He said he hasn't watched wrestling since, bro. He stopped watching it.
Well, to be honest with you, that screw job made me watch a lot less WWF. I will say that. Like, when people say I'm not watching anymore, like I actually stopped watching it. Like that product, like I moved over to WCW for, you know, whatever it was, like a year or 2 years or something like that. And then when WCW got bought out, I was like, I don't know. And I was hanging out with my friends in grade 10. So that was like 2000. And he's like, dude, you have to watch Raw again. And I'm like, why? Like, big fucking deal. Like, well, he's like, dude, truck, just come over. We're going to watch it. And this is like right around the time where I was starting to have beers and stuff. So like we were having beers, we're watching Raw, you know, the wrestling way, right? And and he's showing me, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, is that Stunning Steve Austin? And he's like, yeah, dude. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, wait, he was the ringmaster. Like, what happened here, you know? And he's like, dude, he's like one of the hottest things right now. I was like, wow. And I was like, yo, he's like, I'm like, this is fucking edgy, man. I'm like, they're swearing and, you know, he's like flipping off his ball. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then The Rock comes out. I'm like, yo, look at The Rock, man. I'm like, he's a big deal now. Like, because when I left, like he was, you know, yeah. Yeah. You love that, eh?
Rocky might be. No, I think was he in the Nation? He could have been in the Nation. Then he could have been.
Because I stopped watching wrestling, around like 90. I didn't take a long break from it, guys, but I took like a 1 year break or 1.5 year break or something like that, or maybe even less. And it got like super popular. And I was like, ooh, this is awesome. And then I got back into it. And then I think I stopped watching. It was as soon as I hit to college. So it was like 2002, I think 2002 to 2006. I didn't watch. I missed so much. I missed Evolution. I missed Randy Orton debut. Like, and this is how I started to get back into it. I was playing. I'll be fully honest. I was smoking weed back then, and I was at my neighbor's house. And I smoked a joint, right? And I was like high as fuck, and I'm there, and I'm like playing video games. And then my neighbors, put on this wrestling game. I borrowed it from your brother, and I'm like, my brother still watches wrestling. Like I didn't even know my own brother watched. He was like watching it behind closed doors. He didn't really talk to me about it. And he bought this like on video game PS2, you know, Raw versus SmackDown 2005, I think it was. And I was like, yo, this is like the sickest game ever. And then I'm like going through the screen, and I have tribal tattoos and shit. So I see this guy with tribal tattoos, short hair like me, whatever. And I'm like, oh, this guy looks pretty cool. I was like, Randy Orton. I'm like, fuck, I wonder if he's related to Bob Orton. Then I started looking into it, and I went home, and I remember I told my brother, I said, who's this guy? This guy, he's awesome. And he says, yeah, here, watch these DVDs. You'll get a good idea. He gave me WrestleMania 20, 21, and 22, and I was hooked. Man. I was hooked for life. I was hooked again. I'm like, who's this fucking big guy Batista and John Cena? And I'm like, this is sick. I'm like, wrestling's sick. It's still sick. I love it. And anyways, it was cool. So kind of in a weird way, marijuana got me back into wrestling.
Yeah, someone
right. That's right. That's why I always that's what I always tell people now. Like I don't watch Raw and SmackDown anymore, but like I'll never stop watching wrestling.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Like, I'll never stop watching wrestling. That's why there's other stuff to watch, other promotions. But like I just usually keep up with stuff like through social media and everything. Yeah, but like I don't watch it consistently like I would, like, you know, if I was a kid or a couple of years ago. But
here's the thing, me, I don't watch Raw anymore. I admit that I really don't. I always kind of follow you guys. I follow a lot of people on Twitter. I know what's happening on Raw, but I don't really watch Raw. Right. SmackDown I'll watch every now and then. AEW, same thing. NXT, same thing. I watch when I get a chance because, you know, obviously work. And it's funny thing about AEW is like my mother and my brother found out AEW, and it's the greatest way they found out was this. I was watching AEW on the computer one night, and it just happened to be the night. It was Chris Jericho's 30th anniversary episode.
Oh, yeah.
So, now, they both know who Chris Jericho is, so they know how I'm watching it. And Jericho comes out, and of course Judas comes on. I gotta sing it, and I say Chris Jericho's theme song is probably the best theme song in WWE. And whenever I listen to rock music, my mother looks at me crazy, and my brother to a extent too. Like, you sing it every time. I said, not just the whole audience sings the song every time it comes on, and like I think, yeah, I mean, I watch it. Like I always watch the pay-per-views. Like I always watch Takeover. I'm always gonna watch Takeover. I always watch Takeover. Yeah.
I I watch WWE pay-per-views because I like to keep up. Like I always, especially the Rumble. The Rumble's my favorite pay-per-view of the year.
Oh, I'm getting pumped up for that now.
So I always, and it sucks that we can't have fans and everything, but like I always keep up with products. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm like I said, I'll never fall out of love with wrestling. It's just now I'm in a period of where like it has to interest me for me to watch it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just gonna watch it just to watch it anymore. You know what I mean? Like something has to intrigue me, whether it be storyline wise or character wise or something. You know what I mean? Like something has to intrigue.
Well, I think it's tougher for them to get that reaction from not reaction, but to have somebody sit through that long of a show. That's why I think AEW, NXT, they're doing it right because it's hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't feel as guilty like watching that, right? Yeah. But as far as as far as Raw and things like that, it's like it's too long. And now, the difference is we have so many distractions in our life. Like you sit like how many times okay, I'll watch Raw, but really you're just scrolling through your phone.
Exactly.
And before we didn't have that. When watching Raw, there was nothing there. Okay, maybe you're looking at a magazine. Like the fuck there was. I mean, yes, there was internet, but like you had to get up, go, to the computer. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was effort involved. And normally, if you're watching Raw, maybe somebody else in your family is using a computer. So like there was a couple barriers there. You know what I mean? Now that's hard. That's hard to battle against, man.
It is like, and nothing having Raw go 3 hours is draining in general. And I think, and also it's worse when Raw isn't even that good. So we're sitting through 3 hours. And I think for me, and I've said this plenty of times, that the year that just burned me out from Raw at least was 2018, because like a YouTuber I subscribed to did a video. I think it's like the top 8 worst years of Raw, and 2018 wasn't on the list. And I said, how was 2018 on the list when you had, and this is in order, Rollins and Ziggler damn near every week. You had Strowman's heel turn which was terrible. You had Reigns' leukemia announcement, and it was that I think it was like that 4 to 5 week stretch in November to December when Raw was so bad. And then in November 28th episode, I believe it was, which was so top to bottom bad that literally McMahon had to come back and announce changes. And I think that's when I was just after WrestleMania 35 and the Raw after WrestleMania 35, I was kind of done with Raw. And even now, I think probably count on one hand how many full episodes I watched of Raw. Like,
oh, me too. Like I used to watch it like religiously, like full out the back.
Like this year, I think the only episode of Raw I watched in like the only few I watched in full. I remember I did watch the episode of Raw when Becky announced her pregnancy, because that was probably one of the few I did watch full. Also because Money in the Bank was night before, and I want to see what was gonna happen. But Smack, like I can't really think of how many episodes of Raw I watched in full. Now if it's not interesting on YouTube, I'll check it out. Like the stuff the Fiend, Alexa Bliss, and Randy Orton was doing, I checked that out. With SmackDown, I actually watched SmackDown a little bit more because you got Roman, people like Roman, Sasha, Bianca Belair, Bayley, like people I actually really want to see. Yeah. So I watch SmackDown every now and then. But
I hear you. I like both shows because they really split up the talent that I like. They got Drew and Orton. Those are my two guys. And on Raw. Then you have I kind of like the fact that they've given the titles to Ziggler and Rude. I feel like that. Yeah, they did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They won it from
Profits.
Yes, thank you. God, I always want to call them primetime players, and I'm so sorry. It's just like they're so energetic like them and stuff, and it's like I know they're not them, but they just always remind me of them for some reason. Another thing for me, it's like, I like to watch Raw and SmackDown when it matters. I'll watch like the go home shows for a pay-per-view or something like that. Just to kind of make sure, okay, how are these shows looking going up to the pay-per-view? Or I'll watch sometimes a Raw right after a pay-per-view. I always kind of like those a little bit too, but it's just their pedigree and their setup and their delivery is just so cookie cutter that it's like okay, instead of these two doing this on 1 week, instead we're going to take these two guys and do it the same. It's the same setup, the same, and it's like they've kind of fucked themselves in a way. It's like Well, you guys asked for it. You wanted to monopolize the TV in 3 hours and stuff. Like, you're going to have at least an hour of garbage every single week, minimum, on each show. Maybe not an hour of garbage on SmackDown, maybe half an hour, but still, like, it's hard. Like 3 hours of TV, guys, is not easy, man. Like that's just should have always stuck with 2. All the time.
Funny thing, I remember when they first started doing 3 hours of Raw. It was Raw 1000, the first episode that started it. And being a 12-year-old kid, I thought 3 hours of Raw was cool because one, I was still watching all the time, and 3, I thought, because that when Raw was only 2 hours. When they had a special 3-hour episode, it always felt like a big deal. So me being my dumb, naive self, I thought every episode of Raw was going to feel that way. And then we actually got it. And after I think it was really about a year in, that's when people started getting tired of it. And I understand, especially because the contract you have with USA Network, you can't just go back to Raw for 2 hours. You have the third hour you have to attend for. I saw a great suggestion by someone on YouTube saying, well, why don't you do something like this? Have Raw go 2 hours. Into that third hour, use Raw to show like old matches and old highlights and things. You're still using that hour, and it can help get the casual fans back. But see, this thing, now this is around the time where a lot of fans come back because, the Rumble's coming up in a few weeks.
Is it trash upstairs?
I don't know. Go see. Like the Rumble's coming up in a few weeks. Even my brother who doesn't even watch anymore, he's going to watch the Royal Rumble. And then you got, I really want to see how they're going to do Elimination Chamber without fans. And then WrestleMania, I mean, we got to see. But it makes you wonder, like, we're going just about March 16th, I believe, which was ironically my birthday, was the first episode of Raw they did without fans. And we're approaching a full year. I want to see what's like, obviously you can't go back to fans. I want to see how long this is going to go on, because that's another thing that's alienating people was just the lack of crowd. And I brought this up in a project I did, which is why sports ratings are so down. And I brought the pandemic up because no one wants to watch empty arenas. And for me, wrestling goes the same way, because I think in all sports, you want to hear the crowd roar and everything. But I think in wrestling, it's different with wrestling, because think of some of our favorite wrestling moments and imagine there was no crowd. For example, Hogan Rock WrestleMania 18. Can you imagine watching that match without that the Sky Dome going crazy?
That's a good point.
It makes you wonder. Like, look at some of the moments we've had over the last year, both WWE and AEW, and imagine how well they would have gone better with fans. That's why a lot of people will say their favorite shows of this year from both was AEW's Revolution and NXT was Portland, because those are the last 2 big shows that had crowds.
Yeah.
And as much as I love NXT, even if the takeovers don't hit the same without that passionate takeover crowd.
I know. I totally agree. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
And I was gonna say, in AEW to a lesser extent too, because I actually watched some moments from Revolution. Of course, Omega and Page versus the Young Bucks, and of course Jericho's entrance, which I've watched probably way too many times. And as much as, even though I think both WWE to their credit and AEW have tried to make the best out of it by giving the cinematic matches for the most part are good. The Firefly Funhouse match, the Boneyard match, and my personal favorite, the Stadium Stampede. It's like, as much as you like this type of stuff, you miss crowds. But at the same time, it's like when they come back, you don't just want to go away from cinematic matches, because you look at the things they've been able to accomplish with no crowd. Like, think about it. When Orton set the Fiend on fire, you can't do that with crowds, because it takes a type of camera editing and things like that you can't get away with.
Sure. And I think oh, sorry, Malik, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just going off his point. He's right. I mean, we're probably gonna be stuck like this for some years, man. It's probably gonna be wild for we to have fans back. So this is like the new normal now. Unless they allow fans to come and everybody has to wear a mask and everything. But other than that, there won't be any crowds anymore. So
I mean, I would say do the same thing like the NFL does, which is like, well, not all NFL teams, because like have some fans, but in a like medium capacity. But at the same time, it's like you can't rent out a stadium for a regular episode of Raw. Like maybe like let's say WrestleMania, because knowing how Vince is, they could probably try to get a stadium and do what the NFL does. Let's say they have 16. No, they can probably do more because you use the field. They can have fans in a stadium at WrestleMania. I'm down. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that, because even if it's not like, let's say for instance, WrestleMania was supposed to be in the Rams and Chargers Stadium in LA. Now imagine WWE says, okay, we're still going to do fans this year, WrestleMania. We're still going to be in that arena, but it's going to be a minimum capacity. Knowing how passionate fans will be, especially because they haven't been able to be there, they're going to be loud no matter what. But it's like WrestleMania 35, I thought, as someone who really came into it just wanting to get it over with, because let's be honest, and when I heard from in the Performance Center, and the guy right here who was heartbroken about it, no, I'm talking about Malik. I'll give it to them. They pulled off a good WrestleMania with what they had, like I said, the Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse, the ladder match. It had some good stuff, but it's also things like, everything, like Drew and Brock entrance. You felt like this is the biggest moment of Drew McIntyre's career in front of nobody.
And they literally had nobody though at that point. Like they didn't have no crowd sounds. They didn't have a Thunderdome, obviously. I mean, like, and to echo like what you were saying, it's super true because there's a difference a little bit between like other regular sports and wrestling when it comes to having an audience and fan base and having an arena that's filled up. With sports, I find like, basketball, football, baseball, whatever, it's a momentum and it's adrenaline, right? So those two things hit the athletes and then it makes the game more interesting. So it's those, especially momentum, especially in basketball, you start getting like 3, 4, 5 buckets in a row, the crowd's going crazy, or you're coming back from a deficit. Like momentum is huge, and that's why the fans play such a big factor in the home or away. With wrestling, it's different. It's more of just an adrenaline rush for the wrestlers in the ring, but I feel like it also helps them tell a little bit of the story, or it gives us a little bit more entertainment while we're watching. There's not necessarily momentum, if you will, because there's a little bit, but I think it's more of an adrenaline rush that keeps the wrestlers going if they're doing some crazy moves and maybe it doesn't hurt as much in the moment. Like the crowd, how many times you hear like these big stars saying like, "Oh, I didn't even feel that in the match, but I felt it after the match." It's because their adrenaline goes down, and then when their adrenaline goes down, it's like, "Ow!"
Exactly. That's
that, right? So I wonder if that plays a factor too. But not so much. Like there's match momentum, of course. But you're right. It's just different with wrestling because you're really relying on the audience to tell you whether you're doing well or not, and then you build on that. So you can I guess you can build on like some sort of different kind of momentum, more of a story momentum, of a spectacle momentum. It's not the same like sports. Sports is something momentum, like I'm gonna beat my opponent. It's not quite the same in wrestling because we all know it's determined, but exactly.
Yeah, but I think I saw a great video about basically the power a wrestling crowd has, and he said something that was really profound. He said, unlike other sports, fans actually help tell the stories and matter more. For like you said, like in basketball, for instance, let's say home team shoots a 3, gets a steal, hits another 3, then gets a big dunk. Crowd's going crazy. That leads to the away team having to call timeout to get the regroup and get the momentum back.
Yep.
And wrestling, when characters, matches, and stories depend on the crowd helping them or hurting them, that matters a lot more. Like I said, I brought up Hogan and Rock at WrestleMania 18. Hell, Cena in Punk at Money in the Bank, or Cena in RVD at One Night Stand. You can't imagine those matches without crowd because
sometimes they depict the future, right? Like they literally turned Hogan face and Rock heel mid-match, and they changed the whole dynamic of the match. The fans did that. We don't know what kind of match we would have got had there not been an audience. Think about that.
Or you think about like WrestleMania 30. Without the crowd, we wouldn't have gotten the rise of Daniel Bryan.
Brother, that would be a big loss, yeah.
Or like you look at all these moments, or Kofi Kingston or Becky Lynch when they got their moments. Crowds help get, when they got over the crowd, that helped them. Or helped. Even Seth Rollins, when he won the cash in Money in the Bank. You can't imagine these great, think of your favorite wrestling moment ever.
Even in Elimination Chamber before WrestleMania, when they were getting really behind Kofi, and that's really what started. That's really how it started.
Exactly.
Right?
You can't get this. Exactly.
We don't even know if Kofi would have been in the main event if it wasn't for the fans pushing him that hard that night.
Exactly. And it's
How
like,
are they supposed to know sometimes, you know?
as much as stubborn as Vince is, say what you want about Vince and trust me, we all have. I have. He did listen when it came to WrestleMania 35. He listened to the fans that night, and he gave the fans, everything the fans asked for. They got. Now, if we don't get, let's say we didn't had no crowds, Becky probably wouldn't have gotten the moment. It would have been Charlotte Ronda. Kofi wouldn't have gotten his moment. Hell, maybe Seth might not have gotten his moment.
The only one that they messed up on was Rusev. That one they really, really dropped the ball. Like Rusev Day and stuff. Like, dude, like, how do you put that guy in a mid-card match when he was that over? Like, okay, fine, I get it. You only have a certain amount of spots, but
I just did a video on that today. On my TikTok. I just did a video about Rusev today. I started a series about people they dropped the ball with. Rusev was the guy I picked today, which a lot of people like Rusev Day more. I liked him better when he was the first Rusev, when he was undefeated and he was everything. That's when I liked Rusev. That's what I was like.
The tank at WrestleMania, that was sick.
Yeah, because I wasn't familiar with him until he came to the main roster, and then he started, of course, he had the anti-American character and everything, and he started, he was crushing, bro. I was like, this guy is legit, bro. I was believing him, man. I was believing in his character.
Hey, not only did he come to WrestleMania in that tank, he had said that he smashed Lana in that tank. When I heard that one, I said, "Oh, you are my hero." You inspired all of us men in that moment. Not only did you get one of the greatest WrestleMania entrances, but you smashed your sexy wife in that tank. You are a legend. You should go just for that. But yeah, like even Rusev Day, I think they dropped the ball with it. But we have gotten the Rusev Day merch if it wasn't for fans, like stuff like that. You look at like gimmicks that weren't supposed to get over, but did get over. And that might not have happened. That's the way I look at it, and I understand that you can't really do anything about it because we're in a worldwide pandemic, and so it's like nothing you can do. But and AEW, the reason AEW allowed to have fans because of the arena they have is right next to the Jaguar Stadium, so they can afford it. That if we can't rent out these arenas at these stadiums every night because it's just costing more money than Vince really can make. Well, not Vince has, but you know what I mean. So and of course, with more sports coming back, they're not going to be able to use the Thunderdome coming up soon.
Well, like I said, unless the only way they can have crowds is you'd have to wear a mask and everything. But other than that, there's not going to be a way to bring fans back because of COVID and everything. And we nobody knows how long it's going to be because one, you can get it and not know you got it, and then you can spread it around. And two, even though they're coming out with the vaccine, people still don't want to take the vaccine. So there's not going to be any way to cure it or find a way to maintain it because all the precautions people don't want to take. They want to wear masks. People don't want to take the vaccine. People don't want to social distance. People don't want to take the right steps to make sure other people are safe. So it could be like this for quite some time, for some years, to be honest.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate, but I mean, it's kind of like the new normal. Like you kind of got used to not having fans there. Like it's gonna suck to have the Royal Rumble with no fans, but I mean, it's kind of what they're gonna do at this point. So I mean, they may have fans at WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium, but it won't be a full. People have to be distanced, and you know what I'm saying. So it won't be the same as usual. So hopefully, I mean, I hope we can get fans back as soon as possible. I'd like to, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. So.
Well, I think another thing is this is that I think it's important. This the Super Bowl is coming up in a few weeks. I think they're going to do whatever the NFL does because you can guarantee Roger Goodell ain't having the Super Bowl without anything. That's too big of a market. You got celebrity involvement.
Well, you already see some fans. You already see some fans in the stadiums, no?
Yeah, but it's only certain fans. Like for example, my Ravens. What we
family or something.
Yeah, fans like my Ravens couldn't have fans after a while because of a larger COVID outbreak here in Maryland. So the Ravens couldn't have fans. But you look at teams like, all right, for example, we went to we played a playoff game in Tennessee on Sunday, and the Titans were allowed to have some fans. We're going to Buffalo this Saturday night. They're going to have fans. Like some stadiums are allowed to have fans. So with the Super Bowl, which is also going to be in Tampa Bay, I think they're going to have fans. They're not doing the Super Bowl without at least I think a quarter of that stadium filled up.
Like they can do it safely, great. I mean,
like I said, people just have to wear. I think they can do it. People wear their masks. Like I think you can do shows, but like you have to make a precaution, like you can't get in unless you have a mask.
Bro, I still can't believe to this day that McMahon got away with having WrestleMania. I just can't believe it. Like, I understand that, like, he didn't have fans in the arena and stuff, but I was like, yeah, but all of your talents all hanging out together, and you know what I mean? Like it just went. It went when all the other sports were closed and everything. I was like, I'm like, man. My wife is like, oh, he's got to cancel it. Like everything else is like the Olympics were fucking canceled for and whatever. So I was like, he might cancel them. And I was like, I don't think he will. It's like, I don't know. He might have like a deal with Donald Trump or something. I don't know. Like he might have had something behind the scenes that allowed him somehow some massive amounts of technicalities. Okay, everybody's going to get tested or this, or we're all going to be a bubble. We're not going to see our family for a month. Like for sure, he pulled some massive strings behind the scene to get that like happening. He was like, no, this cannot happen. And to be honest, that's going to go down in history as one of the most remarkable things, in my opinion, like during a pandemic where NBA, NHL, everything else was shut down, we still had WrestleMania. And like, I'm not stupid. Like we all know why. It's like he wanted to make his money, but at the same time, I kind of appreciated that because I was like, man, at least it gives me something live as some sort of performance to sort of look forward to while we were kind of going through it. So I thought it was pretty cool,
That's one thing I will give WWE. Like I think I said this earlier. Is like I gotta commend WWE and AEW. Despite the pandemic, they still were able to do their shows and still able to, operate pretty effectively. You gotta give them both credit that they didn't shut down. Even though they both did some things over the year that we both don't like. Especially WWE, with releasing that a lot of wrestlers during the pandemic, right to WrestleMania, that was really messed up. So I think I gotta like give a hand to both companies for not going under, but what like it's making me wonder, even though how much money are they gonna still be able to make during this pandemic? You got because ratings keep going down, and you can't have live attendance. Well, at least in WWE's case, so you're not really making money, through ticket sales.
No, but I think they have enough reoccurring revenue monthly with the network. I don't know how many people, are subscribed to the network. I mean, for all I know, it could be only 1 million, but I'm sure it's a lot more than that. But it's like, think about it, right? Like if you have just like 1 million people and then, they're all paying $10, it's like, well, you're at least getting 10 mil there annually. That doesn't really keep the lights on, but it's a pretty good start. Considering like, like wrestling salaries are not the same as like, athletes and stuff. Right. So it's, well, who's the most like paid? Obviously the Lesnar, but like, I think Randy Orton's making like probably 2 mil a year or whatever. So, I mean, there's probably some areas where, and think about it, they probably own that building. I don't know if they're renting it. They probably own it, so they don't have to pay anything there. I don't know. I know it's a really good question, but hopefully they can continue to figure out, or obviously they're going to, if they really, really get into trouble, they might have to sell, but I don't really see that happening. I don't see Vince being defeated by life. I don't know, man. I think
come on now. We know Vince too well. He's not gonna roll over for anything. Man, exactly. man went against the federal government and won. Ain't nothing that's gonna take Vince McMahon down.
Exactly. He's not gonna sell his company. It's gonna be officers. I mean, if anything, I don't know how they're gonna do it. I mean, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like the new normal. So it's not really in anybody's control. Unfortunately, you got to do what you got to do. Still put on a show. So wrestling is a nonstop grind. It's all year round. They'll definitely probably won't do house shows for quite some time. They may not do live events again, from what I heard. So I mean, which means good for the wrestlers. They ain't got to travel as much. But it's also more money that WWE is not going to make. But WWE has built himself up as a global company for. The entire vision that Vince McMahon wanted to do with this company, he's done it. So, I mean, he's succeeded in pretty much every goal he's wanted to accomplish. And I don't know. Hopefully, we can have some type of fans back soon. Like I said, wrestling with no fans, it's tough. I mean, even though you got the little You got the little crowds at NXT, and you got the virtual crowds for Thunderdome.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same as having the live reaction from the audience there. Like it feels when you're there in person. So, maybe we'll see soon. Though. I mean,
yeah. I want to talk about a couple of things I'm seeing in the chat real quick. London Souza, I hope I said that right. There was a really interesting question, and I wanted to elaborate with you guys. It says, with Orton entering the Rumble, will the Fiend return and ruin his chances at winning it? So I want to say that not only do I think, yes, he will come back and ruin his chance, maybe eliminate him, I happen to think that the Fiend might be a runner or a favorite to win the Rumble. What do you guys think about that? Can't you see the Fiend winning the Royal Rumble? I can't.
I don't think the Fiend's gonna win the Royal Rumble because that's just like I think it's similar to when the Fiend wins the title. It's not that the Fiend is above it, but it's like, why would the Fiend want that? That's not what the Fiend is about. Because if you haven't win the Rumble, and same thing with having win a title, what kind of handicap you can do with the Fiend? That's why, even though we were all angry at him dropping the title to Goldberg, they should have he never needed the title. They should never put the title in to begin with. I think the Fiend works best when you're not like restricting him in any way.
Right.
Because eventually, if he wins the title, he has to lose it.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think the Fiend. Now, do I think the Fiend can come back and cost Orton the Rumble? You kind of got to do that. I mean,
do you think the Fiend is, like Undertaker said in his own words, right? He was always better chasing the title or not having it. He always, imagine that, like arguably one of the best of all time, admittedly said, like, I thought I was better without the title. Crazy. And maybe the Fiend is one of those characters too. Think about that. Like, he could carry that, with that torch we were talking about. And what better way to start it now than when Undertaker steps away from everything? Like, the Fiend can be that massive spectacle every single year at WrestleMania. Shit, he can maybe even start his own streak. You never know. I think that'd be a great talking point. Imagine the Fiend starts getting some momentum, 3, 4, 5 wins in a row. People might draw to that, man. Like that's the kind of stuff that would bring in, like Kyron was saying, older fans, people that aren't watching anymore. Hey, who's this new guy? He's kind of like a new Undertaker, or, you know what I mean? They'll say stuff like that. We all know there's a difference. But they'd be like, oh, who's this? This guy's pretty freaky, man. And he's got a streak. Okay, what's he about? I don't think I like him. There's no way he's cooler than the Undertaker. And then they watch, like, well, actually, he's pretty damn cool. And maybe that'll bring them back into the program a little bit, It's not a bad idea. Yeah, I like to play with that, Karen. That's a good idea, man.
I think the key with the Fiend, and this is something they kind of screwed up, is you shouldn't see the Fiend that much. Like, what makes the Fiend work is that you don't see him. Is when you don't see him. Like, I think, for example, when the Fiend first debuted at SummerSlam, it was a great debut. I wouldn't change anything about the debut itself. The only thing I would have changed is not show the Fiend in the ring until SummerSlam. Like, you can show him in the Funhouse, that's fine, but you want to see the Fiend less and less to make it feel more special. And you kept seeing him now and then, as cool as it looked, it got back. Then of course that stupid ass red light, and the stuff with Rollins. I mean, to me, especially with the pandemic, I like the idea of doing the Firefly Funhouse matches. I mean, the match with Cena, granted, it was something different, but it was one of the craziest things. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was just something completely different, and I'm perfectly fine. That's what the Fiend should be doing. Things that are different, things you don't usually see. Like having them just being on Raw, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. I don't even have him be on every other pay-per-view.
That's what I've been saying, man. That's what I've been saying.
Like,
I said, you could have got some serious mileage out of this guy if you just have him on the Big Four. That's it.
If that, like, for example, I should never had a Fiend lose. Like, now, if it's just Firefly Funhouse Bray with the sweater, I'm fine with him losing. Bray can take a loss. Like, that's fine, but you got to protect the Fiend more. Like, Bray can look vulnerable. The Fiend you should really have looked that vulnerable. That's just how I think the Fiend should be done. I mean, and the fact that it's been months and we haven't had another Firefly Funhouse match. Like, you had the Fiend still wrestle, but you're not like playing more to his strength. That's just the way I look at it. I mean, I personally And I told Malik this. I actually like the idea of putting him Alexa Bliss because, as you know, I never really cared for Alexa Bliss. And when they started doing stuff to Fiend, I said, you know what, this is the most interesting thing they've done with Alexa. I really like how she's handling it.
Well, she fits the character, right? Like
exactly.
She's kind of like that small, like doll come to life kind of girl that it's like, ooh, like she's a little freaky as is sometimes, like when she's a heel. So when I heard that, like you said, like trying to be paired up with a Fiend, I was like, oh, that's a winning formula right there. Because there's not too many wrestlers on the WWE or even NXT for that matter that could probably pull off that sort of gimmick. You can maybe make an argument for the manager for Karrion Kross, or who's the one that did the Halloween Havoc or whatever the hell it was.
Shotzi Blackheart.
Maybe, and I but I think Alexa's done like a really, really good job so far in doing that. And once again, my boy Orton is in the mix again, even though Orton has had a great year, man. Like, and a guy at my work said that he should have won Superstar of the Year. I said, no, you got to give that to Drew. Like, Drew had the year, man. Like, dude, have you guys seen like his WWE 24? It was really well done.
I didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah,
it's super worth it, man. You guys got to check that shit out because
I think the Fiend could possibly come back at the Rumble. I could definitely see it happen. They've already started to tease it a little bit, when Randy got shot with the fireball on Raw and stuff. So they've already.
What was your prediction again? What was your prediction again, Malik, for the Rumble winner? You had was it Lesnar?
I think Lesnar's coming back and winning it. Yeah,
I think Daniel Bryan's gonna win it.
Me too.
I think Lesnar's coming out at 30. And he's going to have the rematch with Drew, and he's going to win the belt back. And Paul Heyman's going to have both guys on both shows as champ, Roman and Brock as the champ on both shows.
Here's the thing.
What if you have Brock go after Roman?
Exactly.
I mean, eventually, I think
that's interesting because then you have two Heyman guys going again, and who's Heyman's going to be on whose side? Oh, come on, man, that's good. That's good shit. No?
I think. Here's the thing. I think. Granted, this is a different type of Roman Reigns, and I thank you for that every day. Is we've seen Roman and Brock enough. If you're gonna do something where it's like, okay, hey man, to choose, obviously you got to be Roman because, dude, he's white hot. You can't stop doing that. But
they won't do it. You're right.
Knowing how Brock is, do you think Brock really is gonna really want to come back in front of nobody? Like.
For money, yes. He don't care about all I care about his money.
Obviously,
yeah, that's true. He really does. Actually, he's probably
he already did WrestleMania. He already did WrestleMania. I think he just took off because of the COVID and everything. But I mean, he was on like a $12 million contract. So I mean, yeah, they say he wants more money, which I'm not surprised. But I mean, eventually he'll come back and do what he has to do. I mean, business is business to him. So I mean, whatever they tell him to do, tell him to do. But I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna go down because Daniel Bryan could be a good favorite, and I would like Daniel Bryan, to win. I could see Daniel Bryan happening.
He's the type of wrestler he needs to have that on his moniker, like Daniel Bryan, because they owe him one. They really owe him at least one, maybe two. Well, maybe not 2 wins, but 2 times where he could have possibly won, in my opinion.
Me, I don't see 2014 or 2015. Like 2014, you could have been that tone deaf. With 2015, if you were never gonna have Daniel win the Rumble, you should not have brought him back right before the Rumble. Like that was my biggest thing. Is that you had Daniel Bryan make a whole announcement and pretend like he's gonna retire, then says I'm coming back in for the Rumble, and you got Brock as the champion. Daniel never lost the title. Boom, there's your WrestleMania main event. But instead, they went with Roman, and it took Roman forever to recover from that, and it wasn't even his fault. And
that's why I said when I rebooked the WrestleMania 31 show on my TikTok, I said that the main event should have been Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, and you still could have had Seth Rollins cash in, and then I would have set up a feud between Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins for after WrestleMania.
And you want to do Daniel Bryan and Lesnar, you saw that match at Survivor 2018, which was amazing. There you go. But I think now, like, if Daniel Bryan doesn't win it this year, it's a few people I feel like either should have won a Rumble, like Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho, especially. I mean, Jericho should have won in 2012, and then Vince changed his mind the last second, which I'll never understand.
Well, they said Jericho. They said Jericho wanted to give it to Sheamus, so
Yeah, that didn't. If it was Jericho's idea, I respect
they
it.
said Jericho said he didn't need it, so it was his decision, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't build up Jericho like that, and like it's one of those times where you can say, "Oh, it's so obvious Jericho is going to win it," but you look at the next year, you had Cena win it. Everyone knew Cena was going to win the Royal Rumble, and they still went with it. Everyone knew Batista and Roman Reigns were going to win the next 2 years. I think the problem with the Royal Rumble, besides maybe last year, is that it kind of too predictable. Like, think about it. 2016 and 2016, there was only 3 people thought might have won it: Roman, Brock, and Triple H. Triple H won. 2017, I guess you could say was unpredictable. I mean, I didn't think Randy Orton was going to win it. And 2018, for me, it was either Shinsuke Nakamura or Roman Reigns. Those are 2 people I thought. And 2019, I knew it was going to be Seth Rollins. And last year was actually, I didn't, because I wasn't watching a lot, I didn't see Drew coming. I didn't know who was going to win the Rumble last year. So I thought that
I had a feeling that he was going to win. I was like, man, that'd be a pretty cool one.
Last year was Drew was my pick. This year, though, I mean, I have Lesnar, but honestly, I don't know. Like, I honestly really don't know what's going to happen, especially for the women's and men's. I really don't.
Yeah,
there's not a clear cut favorite. Like usually, you kind of know there's a kind of a favorite that always stands out, but there's not really a clear cut favorite.
But isn't that what the Royal Rumble should be about, though? It should not be one clear cut favorite.
Totally agree. You know, I was watching, guys, like, I don't remember which one I was watching. It was either 92 or 94 or whatever. It was one of those earlier Royal Rumbles, like maybe 91. And I'm looking and I'm like, you know what, man? Literally, and I mean this, almost literally every single one of those guys in the Rumble had a legitimate shot and believable shot that they could have won.
I think,
you know, it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody from those times, guys. You know, you had Macho Man and this person and Hogan and Warrior and fucking Warlord and Barbarian and like, you know, Axe and Smash. Like, you had the only guys that like maybe you're like, I'm not sure, is some of the tag teams, but the singles wrestlers, bro, any one of them could have been put it up in it because they were over as fuck. Every single one. It's like, which one do you want to go with this? That's why they messed up a little bit by going with Hogan and Flair. Like they kind of gave the opportunity to the same people. Shawn Michaels won it multiple times, you know, like it was super, like, fucking, it was interesting when I was watching that. I was like, man, I'm looking around the ring and it's like so many stars could have been built. You know, Shawn Michaels back in the day, like that could have been his first win. You never know. He was a Heartbreak Kid. He just started. He was, you know, like,
I think that's
opportunities.
I think that's why. I think that's why you ask some people, like older fans will say their favorite Rumble was 92. Maybe add to their fans say 01. And the reason those two are everyone's favorites are, one, the star power, 92. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker. Do I have to say more? Randy Savage, Sergeant Slaughter, all could have won the title that night.
So I'm saying.
Rock, Austin, Kane, Taker. Like, all people, even until he wasn't going to. Some might say Rikishi. Like, you had people you believe can win it. That's why I like people say those are their favorites. Like, my personal favorites are 08, 2018. Those are some of my favorites of the recent men's wise anyway.
I love 09. 09 was good.
Yeah. 09 was a good one. Granted, we all knew Orton was going to win the Rumble.
I was hoping, but
yeah. That was really good.
To me, always my favorite because of the Cena swerve. Because going into it with, I thought Triple H was winning the Rumble, and Cena came back that night. But if we're looking at unpredictabilities, even ones where it was kind of predictable, but like my least personal favorite, 05, you didn't know.
You look at the end, but it came down to Cena Batista. It's like, bro, like,
you didn't know who was going to win. I didn't know who was going to win 22 as a kid. I thought Cena was going to win.
But you're right, Kyron. Now you
look back at those days, like between Cena and Batista, like back then, that could have went either way. Like either guy could have won that match. I mean, because they both won the titles at WrestleMania. But I mean,
they went on to win the title at WrestleMania. Like, and I think
you're like, I was like, man, they probably should side a little bit more with Batista, you know, and that's what I was thinking in the time when I was watching it, right? But you know, Kyron, you're right, because now from the entrance, you could look at a talent now or whoever, and you'd be like, nope, not gonna win. Nope, not gonna win. Nope, not gonna win. And it's like, it's sad. Like it's too bad because like you just they're gonna come in, they're gonna shine, and then they're gonna like get tossed out in like 5 minutes or whatever, you know.
I think this is the fault of not building up legitimate people. Like when you have a lot of people built up, you're like, oh, maybe he can win it. Maybe he can win it.
But that's why I think AEW is doing a good job. Like if AEW had a type of Royal Rumble, they could have fucking like 15 guys and be like, shit, I don't even know who's gonna win this thing.
Exactly. Like
right now, they're at that point.
I think another thing I missed.
I think they should do one. They should bring back fucking Battle Bowl. Remember that shit? Do you guys remember Battle Bowl?
Sounds familiar.
So here's what it was, right? You had 2 rings or something like that, and the whole night it was a random lottery pick of 2. So basically, it would be like, okay, I'm gonna pick out. I forget what they would pick out of, but like it'd be like, okay, Kyron is against Malik or whatever, and you guys could be 2 face wrestlers. It doesn't matter, but you have to face off against each other, and the winner would get a spot into the Battle Bowl later on that night, and then I think the winner of that would get like a title shot or something like that. And the whole night was interesting because you had matches and stuff, and you had like maybe a tag team going against each other, you know. So it was super unpredictable. And then at the end, you had like this massive two ring battle royal where you had to throw them in from one ring into the next ring, and then you had to throw them out of that one. But I thought it was cool, and like if AEW, man, they should. I don't know, they probably don't have rights to it because it's WCW, but they should come up with something like that. I mean, Cody's pretty creative. Hopefully he can do something. I think that would be friggin' awesome, man, to be honest.
I think another thing you missed in Royal Rumble was like fun, small storylines. This is why I praise the 2018 Men's Rumble so much. Like, that even, like, once again, it was really only 2 people we thought was going to win. Like, I thought Roman was going to win, but, you know, I think you picked Shinsuke. It was one or the other. And one thing, like, prime example what I mean. And it's little, but it's the things that make the Rumble fun. It was that small Heath Slater thing where he got attacked by about 8 different wrestlers, and then the payoff from that was him eliminating Sheamus as soon as he got in. It's the little things. Hell, you had in the end, the final 6 was on one side, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, and I think Randy Orton, and the other side was Nakamura, Reigns, and Balor. And then you had Reigns and Cena versus Nakamura and Balor. It's like, okay. Then Balor went out, then Cena went out, and it's like the fans who obviously want Nakamura, but you had that fear that Reigns is gonna win, and like that's the type of thing the Royal Rumble needs.
Yeah,
like you gotta have that.
And the feuds in the Rumble too, like you said, it's pretty critical. It's like, you know, back in the day, you had like Bret Hart that hated like his brother Owen or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and then like that Owen was in the Rumble, and then like by the time Bret comes out, like 4 spots later, like Owen's like running away and stuff like that. And, you know, I like that kind of stuff too. You know, like where it's like there's a feud happening, and you know, you can and still to this day, like, you know, Bret, even though that night he got fucked over by Owen Hart, so you're thinking, okay, like their feud's gonna get in the way of their Rumble success. Not true. Bret Hart won co-winners that night with Lex Luger. So it's like it was unpredictable. Even though there was a feud happening and he got turned on earlier in the night and he was doing double duty, he still won, or he partly won. Exactly. Like that's the kind of cool shit that, you know, that's how you elevate a star, you know? And they can do that now. Like how crazy would it be out of nowhere? Like all of us are thinking, okay, Lesnar, this and that. Wouldn't it be sick if they just pulled the trigger on Cesaro? Like, how fucking cool would that be?
Exactly.
You know?
I think.
What do you have to lose?
Exactly.
What do you have to lose?
Not much, but if Vince gonna go through it, like, and you also got to have the drama. For example, and I don't think this is a thing. I think most people agree. The greatest final 2 in Royal Rumble history is Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker in 07. Literally, you had 2 people who I think I thought Shawn was gonna win, but I've been finding either one today. I think it went for like 10 whole minutes, giving us a preview of what's gonna happen 2 years later.
I don't know though. Cena Batista was up there. Cena Batista was up there too, because that was very unpredictable too. Especially both guys were hot at the time too.
Yeah, I think Shawn and Undertaker was a little bit better just because of the one-on-one match itself. And I've always said, like, I thought Shawn was going to win, but like because it was in his hometown, and you know, I just had that feeling Shawn was going to win. But Undertaker won. That's another guy who had never won the Royal Rumble before. And then of course they started the next few years, which is something I called. But it was that end game of 07. Nowadays, you kind of like with a good final 2 elevates it. Like 2018 with Nakamura and Reigns. What else? 2012 to a lesson with Jericho and Sheamus, but that went on a little too long. That's what you like about the Royal Rumble to me, anyway.
I mean, it's cool to have those finals too. You know, I mean, as long as the right people are in that position. I mean, it's not a bad idea. But this year, there's really not like a clear cut because there's so many predictions. Some people think this guy's gonna win. Some people think this guy's gonna win. Some people have this guy. So it's not really because a lot of people actually thought Goldberg was gonna be the favorite to win, but then he's facing Drew. So now people are like, I don't know what's about to happen now. So I don't know for the men's and women's. I'm interested to see what they do, especially not having fans. It changes the aspect for WrestleMania coming up. For WrestleMania 37. So I'm not sure though. I'm interested to see what they do, what they can pull off. Like I said, I think my prediction is Lesnar thing, but that's not a for sure thing. But it's something that tells me that I got that feeling of something like that's gonna happen because I can see WWE always does something good, but then they always have to do something to either screw it up or something to make the fans mad again. So I mean, if they're gonna have Goldberg lose to Drew, that's gonna make fans happy. But then something that's gonna piss fans off is to have Lesnar come back and win the challenge. Whoever at WrestleMania for that spot when he doesn't deserve it, as fans would say. So it's interesting to say. I don't know. It's pretty unpredictable this year, but I want to see what happens as far as how they do it because I don't think Rumbles are bad when they're predictable, but it's a little better when you don't know what's gonna happen this year. I think it's pretty unpredictable.
When you have like 5-6 choices you can go, it makes it more interesting for sure. Like now, like I'm thinking, would it be that bad of an idea from a WrestleMania standpoint? Now, keep in mind, you can still have Daniel Bryan win the Elimination Chamber, for example, to face Roman Reigns or whatever. But would it be that bad if there was some sort of dusty finish between, Drew McIntyre and Goldberg? And then Lesnar wins the Rumble, and then you have a 3-way between those three. Would it be that horrible? That's like heavyweight material right there, where Vince would be jerking off in the back, like, oh yeah, look at this 3 big muscle man, yeah, like that's WrestleMania, baby. That's what it's all about, Can you see it?
That sounds about right.
It's something Vince would do, yeah. The only problem with those matches is that the outcome has to be what the fans want. You know what I mean? That's why people don't like when Goldberg comes back because they put him in these title matches, and it's not like it'd be different if he came back and he lost here and there. Okay, that's fine. But when you put him in these matches and then you have him beat people that he shouldn't beat and they hurt him so incredibly much.
My thing is that Goldberg wins the titles. Like he doesn't need. Like I said this back in 2017. Goldberg didn't need the title to have the match with Brett Lesnar at WrestleMania. You could have easily. Hell, the storyline was there. Goldberg, squashed him at Survivor Series, then eliminated him in the Royal Rumble just like that. That's the storyline. And you can say, well, Goldberg wouldn't have wanted to face Lesnar the second time. Lesnar could have easily, and Heyman could have easily said something about Goldberg's family to bring Goldberg back out or something. And then you had your WrestleMania match. Or they want to do Roman Reigns and Goldberg, but obviously Reigns backed out of WrestleMania, so it ended up being Roman. But once again, those are matches that don't need the title. Now, like, some matches you don't can sell on their own without a title. It'd be like this: WrestleMania 28, Rock and Cena was selling no matter what. Now imagine if they had put the title on Cena right around WrestleMania just to have it be Rock versus Cena for the title. That wasn't needed.
Exactly. That's why people didn't like the second one because it had the title involved. They didn't need the title aspect of it, so it made it kind of feel. I don't want to say pointless, but I mean it kind of just. Some matches don't need notes. I mean, same with Rock and Hogan, or Cena and Rock, or whatever. You know what I mean? Some titles don't need matches. Shawn and Taker, yeah. Some titles don't need matches. You know what I mean? Because you can build stories up either way without having a title involved. But some titles, some matches do need titles. You know what I'm saying? Like just the Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan match, title for title. You know what I mean? I was like, oh shit. I'm saying both belts on the line. What's going to happen here? You know what I mean? Andre versus Hogan, WrestleMania 3 for the belt. You know what I mean? Like that was. So some titles can advance for matches, but a lot of these matches, especially with Goldberg matches, like Goldberg shouldn't be in title matches anymore. Like you want to bring him back for matches, okay, fine, but put him against people
that'll just get speared and see you later. Like
or put him against people that like Goldberg versus Randy Orton. I'd watch that. I'm saying like that. I'd be cool with that. That'd be fine. You know what I'm saying? There's no title involved. You can do that. Orton loses, fine, whatever. He's a legend already. He's already solidified. Goldberg loses, he's fine. All right, he's already a legend too. So I mean,
well, think about it this way, Malik. They tried to do that with Goldberg and Taker, but that match was an absolute disaster.
That's because they waited 30 years to do it. I mean, they should have waited. They should have did the match years ago. Granted, Goldberg was only WWE for a year when he was, when he was Taker and him was throwing the prime. But those are, I mean, they did those matches because they thought they would do well, and obviously both guys are too old for the matches. That match 10 years ago would have been fine, but I mean,
that's the problem with Saudi Arabia match, like these Saudi Arabian dream matches. You wait so long to do them, and people get their hopes up for no reason. It's like prime example was like this. And Malik, you and I went back and forth about this before the match, and I told you that it was going to happen. And even I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Was Diaz to the Brothers Destruction? Now, if that happened in like 06, who wouldn't have wanted to see that? But it happened in 2018 that Deshaun retired and all that, and I wasn't watching the show anyway. So I had to hear everyone say, and I've always said that match doesn't exist. So I had to hear everyone say how bad it was. Like, what did you expect? And with Taker and Goldberg, mind you, they're both in their 50s. Goldberg's never been a great worker, and Taker's a good in-ring general, but come on now. And the match was so bad. Undertaker almost died in the ring for one, and Goldberg had a concussion and still tried to wrestle through it. And he ended on a turbulent choke slam, and I will never forget the Undertaker's face after the match. He knew that match was bad. Like people get their hopes up for these dream matches. That's what it is, a dream. But then reality strikes in. That's why, as much as I was mad they didn't do it in 2015 when they had a chance, I'm glad we don't get Undertaker versus Sting nowadays because I'm afraid of what that match would look like.
Yeah, I mean, those some of these dream matches that you wait too long for, you just have to realize that it's better off not happening at some point. I mean, obviously nobody can beat Father Time, so once you age and you get there to an advantage, you know what I mean, you have to consider people's ages, you have to consider people's health. Taker already had hip surgery, and he already been busted up for years. And see, Goldberg's matches were never long anyway, so I'm saying, like, and he's not as strong as he used to be. So I mean, back, like I said, 10 years ago, Goldberg would have picked Taker up with ease. You know what I mean? Like no sweat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But I mean,
dude,
nowadays,
he picked up massive people with that jackhammer. Reese,
Big Show. Yeah, I mean, he picked up people with ease. You know, now
you and that guy. You remember Reese?
Yeah.
Dude, that was a big boy, man.
Nowadays Goldberg, because like the Fiend, man.
Same with the Fiend. 10 years ago, he picked up Bray Wyatt with ease. You know what I mean? But now he's 50, 54 now. I think 54 years old. He's not. You know.
Here's the thing with the Fiend. It wasn't just because he's old. It's because he was out of shape. Let's be honest. The man was gassed after the first spear.
Yeah,
he was out of shape for the match. That's the thing. As much as I wasn't happy what they would Goldberg in the second run, dude still got in shape for it. He came out to face the Fiend.
Well, that technically wasn't his fault because he said WWE they called him like 2 weeks ahead of that time or 2 weeks ahead of time. So wasn't his. That's WWE's fault right there.
Oh,
because they said they only gave him 3 weeks to train for it. So I mean, that's something he got to go with. He's 54, so I mean he's gonna train for it. But I mean you got to give him more time to train for it. You know what I mean, like hopefully the match with Drew. Hopefully they told him at least a month out or something like that. You know, like, hey, we want you back for the Rumble. Can you train? You start training or whatever. You know what I mean? Like obviously he trained, but there's a difference between training for in ring shape and then you train for just to train in general. You know what I mean? So
hopefully, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, and I think the match between those two could be fine. It's just the outcome that people are worried about. That's what's scaring people. This is what's going to happen. Who's going to win? You know what I mean?
See, just like last year, I'm not gonna get angry. That's the thing. When Goldberg beat the Fiend, I wasn't even angry because like I had that feeling it was gonna happen anyway. That's why I wasn't mad. Now, like I said, I will never forget. I got out of class early that Thursday afternoon. I went online. I saw Goldberg had the title. And I called out Instagram chat, and the look on you and Mark's face was hilarious. You guys were so angry. And I told y'all, you expect the worst. Oh, but it's the Fiend. Goldberg ain't gonna beat the Fiend. I said, okay. I told y'all it was gonna happen. Oh, but no, y'all didn't want to listen to me. And then you got angry over something that I told you was gonna happen.
You think it's gonna happen again?
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not gonna.
I wouldn't be happy. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I wouldn't really be happy with Goldberg winning the title and then Lesnar winning the Rumble. I would be fucking mad about that.
If that's your end game,
that's something WWE would do, though.
Of course it is. is. That's why I'm like, fuck. It's like you said, it's inevitable. I don't want to think about it, but it's very possible.
Let's think about it. Goldberg wins the belt, and then Lesnar wins the Rumble, and he has an option to face Reigns or Goldberg, and he's faced.
And then you're gonna go after Goldberg,
and nobody's gonna care about either of them because he's faced Reigns before, and nobody cared about that, and he's faced Goldberg, and nobody cared about that either.
Unless they unite the title again, and it's Lesnar versus Goldberg versus Reigns, and then top dog, head of the table, takes down both of them. I'm okay with that.
If I get to see the tribal chief destroy both of them, I'll take that in a heartbeat. But
and do me a favor. You wouldn't have said that fucking 3 years ago, and nobody else would have. No, but everybody else would be like, "Fuck! I hope Lesnar destroys Reigns, or I hope Goldberg destroys him. I hope both of them get the shit out of that guy." Now it's like, oh, we will kind of want. Oh my god. Maybe they're going to do that. Think about that. That's how you get Reigns over. He's already over. How do you get him even more over is to do something like that. Like the Jericho, Triple H, Benoit. Was it Benoit? The triple threat there? You know how Jericho won that?
Oh, Jericho, the Jericho angle and Benoit.
Michaels. Something like that. I forget. It was like triple threat match at WrestleMania. I think it was like he was the first undisputed champion, that match, where nobody thought he would win or whatever, Well, and that elevated the shit out of Jericho at that point. Well, they didn't do that with Reigns.
As much as me and OTR Central like to joke about Reigns being the babyface, if they do some stuff like that, you guarantee he's going to be a babyface then.
Oh, man.
To be honest, though, Reigns, he's been over. He was just over in the way people didn't want him to be. Now he's over in a good way because now he's had people like him because everybody knew that he could be a good heel because he was a great heel in the Shield. Everybody's like, oh, he got that look. I'm saying he could be that.
Well, now he's following after The Rock's footsteps a little bit now, and it should get to that point. And that's another thing. Do you think The Rock will come back?
Not in front of no one.
No fans.
If
there was fans there, then that easily to me would be the WrestleMania main event for this year.
I'd take that in a heartbeat.
But there's no way with no fans. That match probably never happened, to be honest, because we don't know when fans can come back and everything. So it may. And Rock's getting older too. He's almost 50. So he's still in good shape. But
I wouldn't honestly. I hear what you guys are saying. I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them to bring back The Rock.
The thought of a Rock Roman match though would be enticing because think about it.
It would buy even in a pandemic. It would make you want to watch WrestleMania.
You're still gonna watch it, but it won't have that same feel without the crowd being. You know what I mean? Like it won't have that.
Think about it. Roman said, "I'm the head of the table with this family." Okay, well, you want to be the real head of the table, you got to beat The Rock because
he will beat The Rock.
Rock would definitely put his cousin over, and
he has to.
Think about it this way. Roman beats The Rock, and none of us would be upset about it. Now, once again, if this happened maybe 2-3 years ago, probably pissed people off. Nowadays, if Roman and Rock won, I think a lot of people would actually root for Roman.
I said that if I was doing a thing on my TikTok, and I said if WrestleMania could have fans, how cool would it be to have you'd have Roman versus
The Rock,
and then you have Drew defend the belt against Cena, and both guys go over. That elevates both guys instantly because Drew beating Cena at WrestleMania, huge for him. Roman beating Rock at WrestleMania, huge for him. 2 major title matches. You know what I mean? That would have been. I think that would have been amazing.
Really got it.
I like that. See that's good shit. That's good TV right there.
And the thing is, we never really got a true marquee match between Cena and Reigns, and Drew. Think about it, the only time we got them interact was right before the 2019 Royal Rumble, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been 20 anyway. Around 2019 Royal Rumble when Cena left and Drew put him on the shelf. I would have
been huge because the story's already there. The bloodline storyline between Roman and Drew's already there, and then easily you just build a storyline with Cena and Drew to be the champ again. Cena wants to be 17-time champ, and you build it up to where you really don't know what's going to happen because you're like, oh man, maybe Cena, maybe he does get that 17 title reign. You know what I'm saying? Because he's there, but then you're like, but Drew's the man right now. You know what I'm saying? Drew needs that win too. So what's going to happen? And then it would be very, very good, I think. And then that would be, to me, having those 2 main events would be like Shawn Michaels and HBK versus Batista and Taker all over again because you have 2 major main events at WrestleMania. It's like, bro, both these world title matches are so important.
You know what I would even do? It's tricky because it kind of takes a little bit away from the main match, but you can also incorporate Orton into that that match, not by being in it, but by somehow distracting Cena for the L, and then you can slowly build him like Orton and Cena going for the next WrestleMania. You know, and you can even put a title on that, you know, and okay, who's going to get number 17 first? But, you know, obviously Orton has to have a few more reigns there between now and then. But, you know, it's too early to do that. But I feel like they could maybe do something like that when they want to set up. Like,
I would love to see that, because we've never gotten a one-on-one Cena Orton match at WrestleMania somehow. And two, this is something that actually turned out when you look at the stats. See, if you look at all the one-on-one pay-per-view match between Cena and Orton, I think they had like 14, and it's tied at 7. So, you can have the ultimate tiebreaker at WrestleMania, and you know our buddy Ocho Central would love that because we've been pining for that match for years. And he said, "Put Triple H as the referee, we get a Breakfast Club special."
If he's gonna be for the 17th title, Ric Flair has to be the referee. He has to be the ref, and he has to get the honors to pass the belt to whoever wins, because Orton's his main man, but he has respect for Cena too. So
no, he won't be a good ref. Like he's fucking dude. He's getting slow, man. You have him pass the title, sure.
Let me the timekeeper.
That's it. Let him come out and be like, "Woo!"
Special commentator.
Woo. You know?
But I think that would have been huge. Like those two main events for WrestleMania, I think would have been huge this year. Now, really don't.
Yeah, I agree. My pick for the Royal Rumble for women's is Lacey Evans. I'm going with her.
I'm gonna go with Bianca Belair.
Nah, it's too early.
I'm picking.
Okay, it's not too early, but I look. Hear me out. I think Asuka needs to lose a title. You know, she's tag team champion anyway with Charlotte. What the fuck is with that? Anyways, you know, you have Lacey Evans. Check this out. You have Lacey Evans. You know, have Asuka. You know, she wins the Rumble, beats Asuka at WrestleMania. In the meantime, she, you know, has the feud with Charlotte and somehow gets her to lose the title. So now she's fucked up. So she screwed up Asuka for, you know, losing the tag titles, and she screwed Charlotte at the same time. And then Lacey Evans, you know, wins the title off of Asuka for WrestleMania, putting her over as this like monster, like woman heel. You need that right now, unless you're gonna do Shayna Baszler. I don't know.
They missed the opportunity. My thing is this:
I think there's still time with her, a lot of time.
Maybe, but she should have won it last year. It's crazy because, like I said, Becky even wanted to put the title on Shayna. Becky was telling Vince put Shayna over, but Vince didn't want to do it.
I didn't like that. I really thought that was bullshit.
I did too, and this comes from
because, you know, a lot of people. Can I just say something real quick? Like, this kind of shit bothers me because so many people are like, "Oh, fucking Charlotte, you know, beating Rhea Ripley, beating this person, Becky wouldn't have done that or whatever." I'm like, "Fuck you, man." Becky fucking didn't even put over Baszler at WrestleMania the next day, and she goes and fucking says she's pregnant and drops the title. Doesn't even lose. I know it's not her fault. But like, I hate the jaded fans that only see one thing. They only see like, "Oh, Charlotte never loses," and this. Fuck you, man. You know, like it just happened.
I'm this mindset. I don't think it was neither one of that call. I think it was definitely, especially in Charlotte's case, that was easily a Vince move because Triple H didn't want to put the title on Charlotte, and in Becky's case, she was asking Vince to put the title on Shayna, and even when she got pregnant, she even said, "Let's do a tournament to discover for championship." Like, it's like the wrestlers have better ideas than Vince does. If like you don't build Shayna up through that elimination chamber and not have her take the title, which was Becky's logic. Like, you're not gonna have her beat me. And then when she found out she was pregnant, she told Vince, "Wait, I'm pregnant. You know, I can't be the champion anymore. So why don't you run a tournament so we can build up new stars too?" But Vince didn't do like that's the whole thing.
Totally agree. And think about it this way. If that would have happened, if Becky would have lost the title, sometimes the harm does good for a character. You want that character to come back. I'll be honest, I don't really miss her because she left on a high note. She left on a high note. She just gave the title back. Why the fuck do I want to see her yet? I don't miss her. I would miss her if she lost to Shayna because it's like, man, when's she coming back to kick the shit out of her? Oh, you know, you'd want that as a wrestling fan, right? But now I'm like, I don't really fucking care.
See,
so I totally agree with that.
That's what I said. I said straight up that if you were gonna build Shayna up, what you should have done was have her beat Becky at WrestleMania. You can even run a storyline because the storyline looked like it was gonna be Becky was getting complacent. There you go. Becky got complacent. Shayna beat her for the title. If Becky still gets pregnant, then she just takes more time off. If she doesn't get pregnant, once again, you don't know real life. But
like
you
Rocky
build it
3,
up.
complacent, right, Malik? You get complacent. You get comfortable, right, Malik?
Yeah.
Rocky 3, buddy.
You can build Becky back up if I need to become the man again, and you have her face Shane again. That's a storyline, but no, Vince didn't see it that way. And once again, I think, like I said, I would like to see Bianca win it, but at the same time, it's like if Bianca wins the Rumble, she has to win the title, and Sasha has not won at WrestleMania yet. That's the crazy. That's one thing. You look at her WrestleMania track record; she has not won at WrestleMania, and I think
That's why
Sasha, she's never won at WrestleMania. She lost at 30.
That's
She didn't
why.
win at 32. She didn't win at 33. She didn't win at 34. She didn't win at 35, and she didn't win last year either. Sasha's not won a WrestleMania match yet.
Oh, she's gonna win this year.
That's why
Yeah,
I
for
think.
sure.
That's why I think Bailey should win the Rumble, and they should have a WrestleMania match, and they should be Sasha should go over because they deserve a WrestleMania match together because they have great matches together, they have great stories, they have great chemistry, and they should have got a WrestleMania match years ago when they teased it, and then they completely dropped it.
I've always
This would be the year because last year they fucking killed it last year in the women's division, and even though they haven't done stuff with Bailey yet, you could still have her win the Rumble, have her challenge. You could do it like a last woman standing match at WrestleMania or something between the two that officially ended. You know what I mean? And Sasha goes over, both of them separate. I think that would be extremely good because Bianca, but I think you have to build her up a little more.
That's where Survivor Series worked, but they screwed up the whole women's Survivor Series match. You could have built her up in Survivor Series, but no. But the thing with this is this: even though I knew they weren't going to do this because Hell in a Cell was right around the corner, and then I go with long-term booking. I suggested that after Bailey had put Sasha out with that leg injury, she would have been out into the Rumble. But once again, that's a little bit too long, and I understood that part. And Hell in a Cell was coming up. The Hell in a Cell match was so good, you got to let the feud breathe a little bit. That's why I'm not keen on Sasha and Bailey at WrestleMania. They should have done it when they had a chance. But it's like, well, who? And I say Sasha does go to WrestleMania champion, which I fully think she's going to do. Who else she's going to face? Like, who do you honestly think? Like, Bailey's been done to death. Bianca, you got to build it up more. Plus, like, that's more for next SummerSlam, maybe. Who on the SmackDown women's roster do you think should have, like, unless you want to bring Naomi back and do something with Naomi, maybe, but
really tough call because I'm thinking of myself. I'm like, well, okay, if Lacey wins and goes against Asuka, that's fine. But who wins the Chamber and goes against Banks? And it's like, okay, Carmella already had her shot.
Bailey's been done too much.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the reason why, Malik, I don't think that maybe you're right, and that's probably the safe bet, and they probably could do that. But the reason why I don't think they will do it is because Bailey was featured on Stone Cold's podcast, which tells me that, if they really wanted to, do a WrestleMania match, I feel like he would have interviewed her after that. And that's me. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing some ideas out there. Maybe you're right,
I think what I would like to see, I mean, if it's possible, because I think everything storyline wise, they really they really messed it up with the Shayna and everything last year. But since we're already where we are, Sasha and Bailey having the WrestleMania match, I think would be dope. And then you have Asuka versus Charlotte in the WrestleMania rematch, and you have Charlotte put her over. Just the way that Asuka put her over at WrestleMania, and then after that match, you have Becky Lynch come back right after the match, come back out.
Do you think she's gonna come back after she just had a kid? I think she's gonna take more time off. Like she literally just had a kid.
She's ready. I mean, if she's ready, she could come back. If she feels like she's ready, then yeah. But I mean,
I don't think she's coming back soon.
Well, not from what I heard, but I mean,
once again, you don't know because that's only her decision, and she just had a kid.
Right, but I've been seeing stuff that she's been training to come back for like soon. So I'm saying like storyline wise, that would make a lot of sense because you have champion versus champion, tag team champ versus tag team champ. Asuka gets her WrestleMania win back from Charlotte. She wins. Becky comes back. Last time we saw her in the ring was with Asuka, so they tease that match instantly right there from whenever she can come back in the ring. So that's how I would do it if it was possible. That's
here's the thing: if you're gonna use Charlotte and Asuka and take the tag titles off of them before that, as far as I'm concerned, there's no point of having them face each other at WrestleMania if that's the plan. Which you never know what the plan is. I don't even know if Vince knows what his plan is gonna be. But if you're gonna have those two face each other at WrestleMania, I don't see what's the point of having them be tag team champs at the same time when it's for the women's title. Just have them drop the
tag team champ versus tag team champ. They can do that. It's easy.
The difference between this and doing it with Eddie and Ray was that a title was already on the line. Eddie and Ray, which is all for respect. Like, this is my problem with the women's tag team division, or the lack thereof. is there's not a lot of women's tag teams to begin with, and when you had some, you broke them up. You had the Iconics, you broke them up for literally no reason. You had now granted Nikki and Alexa made sense because we knew what Alexa.
Well, they're trying to make something out of Peyton Royce eventually. I think that's what the plan is, you know.
I guess, but
Billy Kay will be there for the comedy relief, you know, like that skit, you know, kind of like Jillian Hall, like where she's singing. She's gonna be like one of those for a little bit, but still do whatever. But Peyton Royce will be like, you know, another kind of like a Carmella, but a better talent, like a better in-ring, I think. No offense to Carmella. I love Carmella. You know what I'm saying?
That's possible. I mean,
but like a superstar, like it's tough. Like I'm just thinking right now, like from a SmackDown point of view, like fuck, you know, I don't know, man. It's tough. Like let's look at the SmackDown roster right now. I don't even know if Bayley, Bianca Belair, Billie Kay. You have Carmella. We talked about her. You know, you have Liv Morgan, but she's a face. Mickey James is still on the roster. I don't know. Yeah, Natalia, Paige. You know,
Paige.
No, but she's just there. So
I'm not gonna lie. I've always said straight up, I wish. And this is someone who's a fan of her, who's been a fan of her since I was a kid. Like I wish Mickey was built. They at least did stuff with Mickey. You bring in someone who's a legit future Hall of Fame and Mickey James, and you've done damn near nothing with her. Like you can run a storyline of Mickey trying to get one last title reign.
And you have Alexa Bliss, who's doing some good stuff. I mean, maybe, but I don't think
she's
so.
On Raw. She's on Raw, though.
She's on Raw, exactly. That's the thing, right?
You can't break her away from the Fiend.
You have Asuka. Charlotte's on Raw. You have Dana Brooke. I don't know what's going on with her. And then you have Lana, Mandy Rose, Nikki Cross.
Actually, I don't know. I just thought of somebody else who could be potential because they just brought her back. Sonya Deville. I heard that they got big plans for her, and she's on SmackDown too. So
that could be a possibility.
I heard they got big plans for. Well, they had big plans for her before, but you know the incident happened with her and everything, so she took time off.
What show is she on?
She's on SmackDown.
Okay. The problem now you're really tough now because now you have, like Kyron said, Sasha, who never won a WrestleMania. You got to give her that, and then you're gonna have Sonya Deville, who's gonna come, maybe do some good shit at Elimination Chamber. Probably won't go over, and then what do you do with her after? It's kind of like the Baszler effect at that point.
You can lose in a way where it would make sense, and you get the rematch. You know what I mean? And then
I think that's the best. That's right now with what I'm looking. And what it's not necessarily that I don't think they're capable guys. I hope you guys know that. It's just that this is what they've done and this is what they've built from last WrestleMania to this WrestleMania. And you're like, it just doesn't work. You know, like, no, I can't see Liv Morgan in the title picture. I can't. I'm sorry. You know, I can't see Naomi. You know, it doesn't work yet. You know?
And that just comes down to not building anyone. Like you look at it, there's so many women who have the potential. People like Liv, Naomi, Peyton to an extent. You have women who I think have a lot of potential that WWE doesn't put a lot of stock into. And then when it comes down to like their big match, you gotta rely on the old people. Like you gotta rely. That's another reason why, and this is why I feel like Charlotte does get a bad rep, is because they rely on her so much because they don't build up anybody. Like literally, a lot of people were like, I knew who Asuka's mystery tag team partner was gonna be. We all knew it was gonna be Charlotte, and I saw a lot of people complaining about it. And when I see, yeah, I get it. It's like, well, Vince isn't building up anybody. You got, and I think this is really frustrating me with the Women's Survivor Series match the way it went down. You had an opportunity to build up either Ruby Riott, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, but instead you're running an angle with Lana where she's a sole survivor by complete accident, and then the payoff the whole payoff of the storyline of her getting put through a table every week didn't happen because she didn't compete in the match at TLC.
Yeah. No, I don't understand
that happened because, you know, of Rusev. They did that.
I would give Vince and them the benefit of the doubt and say not that petty, but we all know they are.
I don't know. I think, like I said, Sonya Deville could be a good option because I always liked her, and I heard they did have some high hopes for her. But like you said, like did she really feel like a title contender right now? You know what I mean? Like,
I think. Maybe you could do that, or like I don't want to see Baszler challenge and lose. No, I'm not interested. But what I can get behind is like a Nia Jax, who's a credible threat to Sasha Banks, who has main evented before. She's got a little bit of experience. you can build up Nia Jax since they're not champs anymore, right? I don't think. So, you can make her that singles heel against Sasha Banks that Sasha goes over. It's a safe match.
Yeah, but Nia's on Raw, so.
Oh, is she? Damn it.
Yep.
Yeah, she's on Raw.
Fuck.
So, that would work.
No, I don't know what to do, man. So you're right. It doesn't work anymore.
Or you could. What about the match that I would find with the match that Sasha has been wanting, her versus Trish. She's been begging for that match for.
I've been begging for that match for years. I would love it. That's what I would love to see.
What, Sasha versus Trish?
I would love it.
They were, from what I heard, there were rumors of doing that at Evolution, but they never did it. But Sasha Banks is going on record and saying that's been her dream match for quite some time. So
hey, that's a shove and take my money deal. I would love to see that.
Well, she was pretty good at SummerSlam.
And it's a good way to get her over too. I mean, Trish puts her over, you know what I'm saying? Good way to Sasha get over, you know what I'm saying? So
and Trish would do it. She put Charlotte over. I mean, you do Trish and Sasha at WrestleMania, how Trish doesn't even have to win the Rumble.
Right,
who did she face at SummerSlam? I don't remember.
You said what?
Who did Trish face at
Charlotte in 2019?
Was it? Really?
Yeah. Which was a good match too. I mean, she had a good match, so I mean.
My dumbass didn't really watch SummerSlam, so I didn't see anything but the main event that night.
It was a good match, but I mean,
I was there, man. I was there in attendance.
That's what's up.
Overall,
I saw the I can die saying, "Hey, I saw the Fiend debut." That's pretty fucking cool, no?
I can go to my grave saying I've been to a WrestleMania, so
hopefully,
I'm on my way.
hopefully they can have. I'm saying, as soon as we can have fans back, man, it's gonna be like the best crowd. That first night when they can have fans back, it's gonna be like the most insane episode of Raw you've ever seen in your life.
And I will actually watch it. And I don't even watch Raw, but the first episode of Raw where they actually have a crowd, I will watch it. And I'm not talking about a fake crowd or a small capacity. I'm talking about a filled up crowd. I will watch that episode of Raw.
That's gonna be that'd be pretty interesting, I think, just to see how or when it can happen. Hopefully, like I said, so maybe they can start doing shows with. Like I said, AEW's been doing shows where they have some fans there, but in social distance and everything. So,
but the difference is this: AEW isn't renting out arenas that they don't own because the arena they're using is right next door to the Jaguar Stadium, which Tony Khan owns. So there's no harm, no foul there. WWE would actually have to rent out buildings during the pandemic across to do that, and that's just money. You don't know if these companies want to open up their arenas during the pandemic.
Well, that's what they do it. Just do it at the Performance Center. Then just spread it out. They can have fans there. Just spread it out. Have certain fans. And spread it out there and make it safe for everybody. So people don't touch each other on social distance. You know what I mean? Because nowadays you gotta work with what you can work with. Unfortunately, I mean.
But are you really gonna bring an actual wrestling fans into the Performance Center? Also, like let's be honest, Performance Center isn't that big, so it's not gonna be easy to socially distance in the Performance Center.
Do they even have seats? Yeah, they have seats there, right?
They have seats.
They have seats. Yeah,
like an indie fed, but
it's like you're gonna like what is that? 1,000 people max?
Yeah, you can't socially distance in that room. It's too small.
Well, I'd have to sit here and with my group, and then you guys would have to sit like where that door is, So it's like it'd be really, really spread out. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. So whoever comes in, like you're considered like a bubble, but it's gonna be tough, lineups, this, that. It'd be interesting though. It'd be kind of like a dead arena kind of feel. So, or like going to like a one of those like indie wrestling bingo hall sort of things. I don't know if you guys ever done that, but it's pretty fun.
Never been to one.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. It's cool. It's not as poppin', obviously, but it's you just kind of go to your own tune kind of deal. You get up, you move around. Like there's so much space. Like you just, it's. So I like that a little bit. I don't know. I mean, look, like you said, it could be entertaining for them, and they could be even more excited because like, oh, finally, look, we're here. We're back. So it could be fun. Also, you never know.
Well, while we're talking about wrestling, let's switch it over for a little bit. With the NFL playoffs, what do you guys think about the playoffs right now?
Well, some people are thinking that the Ravens you guys are gonna upset the Bills. It's hard for me to agree with that, but I think that if anybody can, yeah.
I can see that game going either way. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if either team won because that's a pretty close matchup to me. I don't expect the Browns at all to come close to Kansas City. Even though I said they were going to beat the Steelers.
I actually picked the Steelers, and I was happy I was wrong because I don't like neither team as a Ravens fan, but I absolutely actually despise Pittsburgh. So I was perfectly fine.
As far as the other matchups, Green Bay, I got Green Bay over them.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think the Rams. I think they got
Rams going to beat Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think Green Bay is clear cut to go to the Super Bowl this year. They're a favorite to me.
You guys think so? Kyron, you too?
They're a favorite.
I have questions about Green Bay, but it's hard to go into Lambeau and win in this time of year. This is where it gets colder. This is where it snows. This is this type of environment you don't want to face. That's why I think Green Bay can. And
if they can get past the Rams between whoever wins, because Tampa and New Orleans play, so whoever wins that, if Green Bay faces one of those two teams, I think Green Bay would be the clear cut favorite against either one of those teams to win. I mean,
and I think the Saints are going to beat the Buccaneers. Like, I don't like Drew Brees isn't really as good anymore, but that Buccaneers defense isn't really good either. And the Saints obliterated them twice this year. They beat the hell out of them in week 1. And then what they did to him in Tampa Bay was even worse. And
playoffs are different than regular season, though. So
even more excuse for that.
It's a lot more pressure in the playoffs.
I think I'm going with this. I think the Saints are going to. I think my predictions are Saints, the Chiefs, the Packers, and not even talking about fans. I think the Ravens are going to beat the Bills because, for one, the Bills don't have a good rush.
All right. From what we see now, just pick two teams you got going to Super Bowl. Who do you think? Just believe in your heart. Maybe there.
If you want me to go my heart, Ravens, Packers. But my head, I'm going to go Chiefs, Packers.
Ravens and Packers.
That's what I would like, but I think it's
you got Ravens and Packers? Ravens and Packers. That's a good pick.
Oh, man. That's... I don't know, Malik. What do you think first? I'll answer last. It's a tough one.
I definitely think Kansas City is going back to Super Bowl. I don't see anybody beating them in the playoffs, to me, in my opinion, on that side, other than the Ravens. But as far as the other side, I like Green Bay. I'm liking Green Bay. If they get past the Rams, if they don't get past the Rams, though, that's gonna be tough because New Orleans has a shot. Tampa has a shot too. So Tampa beats New Orleans. That they get there. If Tampa beats New Orleans and they face the Packers, I want to go with Tom Brady, but
I'm going with A-Rod for that one.
But depending on, it would be tough. It'd be because they play.
It's very hard. It's very, very hard.
They were playing Green Bay, so that would make it a little harder. But it's hard to bet against Tom Brady. So it depends on how he plays. I mean, he's a little older now, but like he played really good last game. But depending on how he plays in those situations, it's tough to bet against him.
But here's what I think.
If I had to pick, I would pick Green Bay and Kansas City.
I think the problem with Tampa is their secondary is not good. I mean, wasn't it Taylor Heineke? I don't know how to pronounce his name. He was the quarterback for Washington, who was their freaking situation when he torched them. I mean, and you got Drew Brees, and if he beat the Saints, which you never know, even though they did beat the Packers earlier, that was in Tampa. This was in cold Green Bay. It's a different story. And they did lose to the Rams also this season. So I have questions about Tampa. And like I said, the AFC, I'm going with the Chiefs over the Browns because that Browns secondary got lit up by big, even though they caught 4 interceptions. Ben Roethlisberger still threw 500 yards on them. And this is Patrick Mahomes we're talking about. It's a whole different animal. And like I think the Ravens and Bills are going to be the best game this weekend, regardless of who wins. But I think the Ravens are going to beat the Bills because the Bills don't have a good run defense, and the Ravens are the best running team in the league. And also, the Ravens have a good secondary. And if it snows, Josh Allen isn't going to be able to throw the ball down the field well. So I think those play into the Ravens' favor. That's why I think the Ravens are going to win.
Man. I'm going to go with – well, I agree with Malik. I don't see anybody – I'd like to say the Bills, but to advance, and no offense, like the Ravens are scary as hell. Don't get me wrong, but I'd like to think that Allen's got that eye of the tiger right now, and he can like just get things done. I mean, he was arguably like the best quarterback all year. You can argue that, right?
He had a good year this year. Yeah,
amazing year.
I think Aaron Rodgers was the best quarterback this year to me, though.
I don't know. It depends how you look at it, but from a production standpoint, rushing TDs, the whole deal, like he's done it all. So I still think the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl, and I think I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm gonna say the Rams make it. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm going with the Rams to be in the Super Bowl.
Chiefs, Rams. I mean, if it's anything like that game they had a few years ago on Monday night, then we'd be in for one of the greatest Super Bowls ever. But
the Rams are actually a sleeper team, to be honest.
They're a sleeper team.
A lot of people
they look damn good, man, against the Seahawks, bro.
I mean,
like they made Seattle look like a bunch of fucking chumps, bro. I was like,
they did. I was watching in the break room. I think I was watching like the first half in the break room at work during my lunch break, and I'm just like, I picked Seattle only because I didn't know
Seattle, but I like them though.
Like I picked Seattle, but that's because I didn't know if Jared Goff was gonna play, and he didn't even start. He played because their second string QB got hurt, and Jared Goff had to come in. And there's nothing with the Rams. They have arguably the best cornerback in the league, and Jalen Ramsey, and they have the best defensive player in football, and Aaron Donald, who, let's be honest, is gonna make anyone's life a living hell, whether you're running the ball or if you're a quarterback. So that's actually going to be an intriguing matchup. Not only because the Packers have Devontae Adams, so it's going to be interesting in Ramsey versus Adams, but also if Aaron Donald plays, I think he has a cracked rib. How Aaron Donald's going to and Aaron Rodgers, that dynamic. So, but I'm still going with the Packers. Like I'm going with every home team this week, except ironically the Bills and the Ravens. Just like matchup wise, I think the Ravens take it. Oh. But the reason I think a Packers Chiefs Super Bowl is what's going to happen is this. Not only do I think these were the two best teams this year, but let's be honest. You know how hard it is to go into Lambeau and into Arrowhead and win a game in the playoffs in that cold environment. That's why I think both teams have.
I know. We're talking California to Wisconsin, man. It's completely different. You're 100% right.
What about I was doing this thing where me and these people on TikTok were doing this chat, whatever, and where I got to do a video on mine tomorrow. But if you could think of one, name a movie that you like, but name a movie that you like that people wouldn't expect you would like something that's your taste. But like if you said I like this movie and people think you wouldn't like, so name a movie that you would like and you think people would be surprised that you like it. Like, oh, you like that movie?
Can I do I go into the Disney vault, or is that just too easy?
Disney might be too easy. I'll name two for mine. Maybe it may not be surprising, but I think it's a little surprising.
Let's do real movies.
One of them, I absolutely love the movie Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan. It's one of my favorite.
Oh wow! Really?
Mean Girls and Dirty Dancing. Those are two of my favorite movies ever.
I saw that when you did the video. I was like, you had some interesting. You had Ghost in there, didn't you? No.
No, I had Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Rocky 3.
And then you had.
I gotta go back and what did I have?
And then the one you just said, Dirty Dancing. What was the other one that you said?
I had to go back. I can't remember.
You just said it. Me too. Fuck. I still have that COVID brain fog. Fuck.
You said Mean Girls, Dirty Dancing, Rocky 3.
Mean Girls. Yeah. I don't even know if you mentioned Mean Girls on the video. Did you?
No, Mean Girls. That's a 2000. That's not an 80s movie.
Okay. All right. I think I can think of a movie I like most people wouldn't expect. If you've seen it, then remember the movie Girl Trip that came out a few years ago with James Smith,
that was a funny movie. Yeah.
And Tiffany Haddish. I actually thought that movie was great. And even though I'm not necessarily the target audience, it's more like older women. I thought the movie was freaking hilarious.
Another one I can throw out there too. It's a very old movie. It's The Wizard of Oz. People who know me know how much I love that movie, but that's one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's not something. It's never been something I've loved, but I we had to watch it in my film class. I appreciate it for what it did for the film industry in general, so I can't knock it. Even though it's not my cup of tea, is a classic. So
I love Wizard of Oz. That's for sure one of my favorite movies of all time. Another one of my favorites, Family Man with Nicolas Cage. I thought it had a good idea, great storyline. It was just really like, I don't know, in my opinion, it was pretty low key, but very good like romance behind it too. I found like, so I kind of enjoyed that. Love and Basketball, probably, I don't know.
Love that movie.
Yeah, not a lot of people would probably think that I like it for some reason, but that movie was sick.
That is a great movie.
Funny enough, that's probably, I think, my wife's favorite movie of all time. So I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna watch it together.
That's my movie my mom absolutely loves. She loves that movie.
That's a great movie. That's a great movie.
So well done. So well done.
What about a TV show? Name a TV show that you like that people wouldn't expect.
Well, let me just say this about Love and Basketball before I answer that. It was cool because when I was growing up watching that movie, I was single. So I was watching it and I was like, man, like that's cool. Like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that girl, like that little bit of a sporty girl that I can like, hang out with, joke with, but also be like passionate about whatever. And I thought it was really fucking cool that like my wife ends up loving that movie and we're like watching it together as we got older. I thought that was really cool,
Yeah.
But yeah, the TV show, TV show that like I like. Okay, there you go. This Is Us. Done. I love that show. This Is Us. You guys ever seen it?
This Is Us. I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
A lot of people think it's a chick show. It's I don't know if it's labeled that, but I call it a life show because there's so many things that happen in life. We lose family members to cancer, and this and that, and whatever, and it just covers everything. It covers abortions. It covers miscarriages. It covers Alzheimer's and this. Like, dude, guys, like it covers everything that people go through, and it just shows you about how to be strong and kind of push through it. Like, if you guys get a chance, I trust me, man. Give it a chance. Give it one season, the whole season. See if you like it. At first, I was like, "Oh, what is this?" I was kind of like Kyron right there. That's what I was doing when I was watching. I was like, "Oh," Haley's like, "Oh, whatever." Like, and she never forced me to watch it. But one night, I just watched it, and I was like, "Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought," and it was very moving and emotional. And I was like, "Woof!" And then like the next week, I'm like, "So, are you watching it again?" She says, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, I'll check it out. We'll see where the story is going." And then I was just like, I was hooked, man. And like the second season, I was all in. So that for me, that's definitely my pick. Is This Is Us, and nobody would probably. I fucking bought a shirt. It says like it has like this. I hate to say this, sorry, Kyron, but it has Steelers colors because they're based in Pittsburgh. So it's like this. It's like this shirt that's kind of like a football style shirt. It's got like the yellow here, it's black, and it's got a number, and it has their name on the back. I got 2 of them for us for Christmas because we watched that show together. Cost me a fucking fortune. Damn you, NBC, for not shipping to Canada. I had to get my buddy to buy it for me, ship it to his house, and they had to ship it to me, and then return it on top of it. Fucking 2 shirts cost me like $170. So I was like, Jesus.
Well, for me, I'm not gonna go with the obvious cartoon because that's too easy of a pick. Everyone knows I watch that show. I'm gonna actually say this is actually something most people wouldn't expect me to watch, and I don't even watch the show as much as I just follow certain characters in the show. You guys have heard the soap opera All My Children?
Sure, my grandmother watched it.
Yeah, my grandma watched it too.
I don't watch the show in particular. I do follow certain characters, so that's probably the show I watch.
General Hospital, she watched too. I think that was a big one.
Mine would be you guys would have to know. It's a very old school show. You'd have to know what it is to know it. Mine is a show called Columbo. I don't know if you know what it is.
Oh wait a second, Columbo. Yeah, I've heard of that. Is that a bald guy? No.
No, he's a detective. He's a homicide detective. His name's Columbo.
Yo, yeah. Old school, man.
That is my fucking show right there, man. That's one of my favorite shows, dude. You have to know what it is. It's like 1970s, 80s show. You have to know what it is. Basically about a guy who was a detective. He solves homicide cases and shit. But his name is Detective. His name
remind me of him.
His name's Detective Columbo. That's his name. So that would be a show that people like. You have to know it if you're from that time period, like you were an adult in that time period, then you know what the show is. because my grandma and all of them, they all know what the show is because they were adults.
Yeah, it's like fucking Matlock or any of that, or Magnum PI, that kind of shit. You know,
Yeah,
like, those were classics, man. Those were classics. That stuff.
So Columbo would be one of mine. Another one. Let me think of another one too. Another show that I watched that people wouldn't expect. Columbo. Gotta think that I've seen a lot of shows,
Night Court.
or at least I've tried a lot of shows. I won't say I've seen a lot of shows. Oh, the TV show called Girlfriends. I don't know if you've ever seen it. That's one of my favorite shows.
Oh, I think
I
my
know what it is.
wife watches it. My wife watches it.
I don't really watch it. I used to be around people who watch it. I never watched it.
Malik's got that soft spot for that like teen drama shit, man.
I know I do.
I'm into pretty much anything. So I mean, I'll try anything out at least. At least.
Me too. I'll watch a movie and grade it myself. I watched this fucking movie when I was growing up called Boys Don't Cry. And I was like, what the fuck am I watching? It was about a girl trying to be a guy, but she didn't have the sex change, but she was dressed as a guy. But I didn't understand what the fuck I was watching. I was like, I thought it was I thought it was a guy on the cover, and I was like, okay, I don't know what this movie's about. Let's just watch it, right? Then I'm like, okay, it's a girl, and she cut her hair a certain way to look like a guy, and then she put a dildo in her pants, so that way, like she was going to make out with a girl, so like she was like a girl trying to be a guy, but she still liked girls or something like that. And I was like,
no, I liked.
Girl Interrupted. That was another one that I watched.
I've never seen that one.
I went through this phase, man, where you talk about Mean Girls. I saw this movie called Jawbreaker. I watched that. I was like, what am I watching, man? I went through this phase where I just watched all these like chick flicks, bro.
I went through that stage. I was watching like The Notebook, and I was watching,
Notebook's a great movie.
I was watching Clueless, and all these.
Notebook is that it's on the land of Titanic. Titanic was like on the water, that love story and shit. But like Notebook was like on land. Like it was like that caliber. I found like The Notebook was up there with like the love story of Titanic. Man, that shit was sad, bro.
The Titanic was it was such a.
There's not too many fucking movies that made me cry. That Notebook was one of them. Green Mile, I bawled like a baby, man. Oh, you guys ever seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Dude, it's with Tom Hanks and the big dude. What was his name? Michael Clark Duncan. He was in it. Dude, Malik, you ever seen this movie? The Green Mile.
Oh, of course I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, how sick was that movie?
It's like a 3-hour. That's a 3-hour movie, bro. That's
Dude, Kyron, you have to watch this movie.
You haven't seen Green Mile, Kyron?
I probably have. I just don't remember it.
Bro, it's got the one dude. What's the big black dude's name in the movie?
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, bro. He
was a big black dude.
You've seen the famous scene, the ending scene, bro. It's a famous ending scene that everybody has really seen on the internet.
He was. Yeah, I probably have seen that. I probably don't.
He was convicted of a felony that. Well, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but basically,
he didn't do it.
He didn't do it, but they show him, and and the guards, like they kind of bond a little bit with him. But dude, it's like one of the honestly my top. It's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
It's a great movie. Like basically. It's sad because it does play in the race a little bit because he's a black man who got convicted of something he didn't do, and they sent him to a death sentence.
That's right.
I think that actually kind of reminds me of the
It's kind of like you ever seen Killing a Mockingbird before?
Once again, I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
I read the book. Did I ever see the movie?
The movie's really good. We read the book in school, and then we watched the movie, and the movie is really, really good. Basically the same thing. Black man got convicted of something he didn't do.
That kind of sounds like the Central Park 5. That was a tough movie to watch. So When They See Us, the movie about the Central Park 5, that was that. Look, I saw someone say, "What's a movie that was hard to sit through?" Somebody said on Twitter, "I will never watch When They See Us." I can't watch. It's not about me. It's like when movies are based off, like when films are based off real life, and it's hard to watch it. Like, for example, the movie. I'm pretty sure we've all at least heard of What's Love Got to Do with It, the movie about Tina Turner.
Yeah.
That's the scene that's still hard for me to watch in that movie is the scene when Ike slapped and then dragged her across the room. Like just the way Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne played in that role. Like way she was screaming, he just dragged her across the floor.
Let
It's
me
like,
tell you
when you know stuff like this happening, he really did this to Tina in real life. It's hard to watch.
Let me tell you something. There are two types of movies in the world that I just can't watch for certain reasons. One is any movie that has a dog involved. I can't watch dog movies because I'm always afraid the dog's gonna die or something. I can't watch it. The only one I've ever seen was Old Yeller. Man, it's classic.
I watched ODL. I saw that.
I've never seen Airbud, but Airbud doesn't die. He doesn't die.
No,
But I've never seen. But it's the basketball one is sad. The basketball one gets me though, because the basketball one is sad though. When he took the dog and left him on that little island, and he drove away in the boat, and the dog started running after him in the water. I was like, bro, I can't watch that shit.
What movie was that? What movie was that?
That was Airbud. The basketball.
Fuck, I didn't see that. You
ever seen
yeah. Yeah, of course, the original one, right?
Yeah,
the first one.
But I've never seen Marley and Me because I know what happens at the end. I refuse to watch it. I will never watch that movie because I know the dog dies at the end. They put the dog to sleep. And I will not watch doll movies, bro. I hate doll movies to this day because when I was a kid.
Homeward Bound.
That's a good movie.
You can watch that one, but it was close at one point. I was like,
yeah, Homeward Bound's a really good movie actually.
Pretty sad too, though.
But it's easy to evoke emotion out of people when animals die. Like, bro, like when I saw I Am Legend, bro, and he suffocated that dog, I was like, bro, like I couldn't believe it. Like I didn't know it was coming, and like obviously they zoomed up real close on his face and everything, so he's crying. I'm like, what's going on? And he did it. Then they show him releasing the dog, and the dog's dead. I'm like, oh, bro, like,
dude, I hear you. Like I was watching the Netflix.
Have you seen John Wick?
What?
No.
Oh my god, bro! There's a scene in the John Wick movie where the dog got shot, and they show the dog getting shot. Like you can see the bullets hitting the dog, bro. Like it's like bro. It's like in the beginning of John Wick, and John Wick movies are great. They're great movies, but in the beginning of the movie, things went down, and the dog got shot, and they show the dog getting shot, like blasted with bullets. Like,
no, I was watching a documentary called "Don't Fuck with Cats." Have you guys ever seen that?
No, I've never heard of it.
It was there was this. He was kind of like he was a killer, right? He was a killer, like a serial killer, like he killed a few people. And how he started to, the warning signs were there was he was filming himself, but like we didn't know who the fuck it was, right? Like the cops got involved, detectives and whatever, and he would torment these kittens. So he'd buy these kittens, and like put them in a fucking bag and like try to vacuum them and stuff. And I was like, dude, like, I love cats. I have 3 of them, like, so I was watching this documentary, but I had to like forward past any clip that they showed anything to do with the cat. I'm like, nope, forward. Okay, next scene. I just wanted to see what was happening. And it's fucked up because this guy was actually in Montreal. Like his, I forget his name right now, but it's like, I'd say watch it, but it's not really that uplifting.
No, I won't watch any type of those movies like that. Like I don't even like seeing clips of like. I mean, obviously it's natural habitat, but like when clips like animals eating other animals, they're hunting other animals in the jungle or something like that. Like, obviously that's natural habitat, but it's like for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so like.
It's so ruthless. It's ruthless. I know.
It's so brutal. Like, but and another thing, I won't watch doll movies either because when I was a kid, like, I love horror movies, but like when I was a kid, bro, I don't care what anybody says, bro. The fucking Chucky doll freaked me out so much, bro. That motherfucker was so creepy, bro. People don't understand, bro. He's a killer dog. He's a dog that kills people, bro. How does that not creepy to somebody?
Here's the thing, well, Chucky, I've never said it.
Why the only one who thinks about that? This dog can kill you whenever he wants, bro.
No, this is my whole thing with Chucky. And maybe because I don't watch the movies, I don't watch horror. But it's like this. If you didn't think about it, the adults in those movies are stupid. Think about it. And once you go over the fact that it's a talking doll, it's still a doll. Like, it's a doll at the end of the day. Can't you just tie him up or something?
Right, it's not that simple. First of all, he's a doll, so basically.
But he was like really like crazy.
First of all, he's a doll, and he can kill you whenever he wants. He could be on the edge of your bed while you're sleeping
with a knife
and stab you in your sleep. And when you die, nobody's gonna believe you got killed by a doll because he's a doll. So that's the part that freaked me out the most. I'm like, bro, he's a doll. He can get, and he was like super fast. He had this incredible speed.
And then let's say I was like with Malik. No, let's say I was in my house right now, and the doll came out of nowhere, and it was like on my table with a knife, but like we weren't doing this podcast, I'd be like, holy fuck, what the fuck's going on? And then like I fight him off or whatever, and then like you walk in, he'll just like lay flat, completely like he's lifeless.
You wouldn't know it.
So you're walking in, and it's like, yo, Eddie, come on, this thing is not fucking real. And then all of a sudden he'll like come back to life, and yes, I am, boom, and then he'll like kill you, you know, because you just came in. Like it was like, so it was kind of fucked up.
That shit freaked me out so much, bro. I will never.
Well, they did a great job with 1 and 2. They did a really great job. Number 3 was pretty good too with the army.
See,
and
but
stuff.
the crazy thing is though, I had to backtrack because the first one I ever saw, he had the stitches in his face. He already had the stitches in his face and everything. It's when he got stitches.
Shit, that was like the 4th one then.
Yeah, so the first
number three where that happened.
So I had to backtrack when he had the freckles and everything. And the first one, you know, obviously, you know, when he got shot, when the dude got shot in the store, and he took the dolls, and he put himself inside the doll, and then he figured out he had to get himself out the doll. So now he's trying to possess this little kid so he can, you know, be reborn inside a human.
So the idea, Kyron, was that this was a murderer,
Charles Ray.
And then he went in. Pardon me?
I think I noticed synopsis. It was a murderer who almost got caught by the cops and threw black.
Caught by the cops, and he summoned his body and his soul into this doll because he knew he was going to be, you know, trapped or sent to prison. And he was over, and he was like this really like horrible person that like fucking worshipped the devil or something like that. You know, it was like pretty messed up. You know. Those movies
he got shot. But I thought the buddy said he thought he was gonna die. He didn't want to die, so he possessed himself.
Oh yeah, that was it. Sorry, man. Yeah,
he possessed himself in the doll, and then he found out. I think the guy some voodoo guy that he was friends with, told him that the only way he had to get himself out the doll, or he was going to become more human inside the doll, because he started bleeding and he started getting like human reactions inside the doll, and he got shot a couple times, so he started to feel human emotions. So then he tried to possess himself inside this little kid, the kid that took him, the kid that, you know, or I think his mom bought him the doll. He was a good guy to honest. He tried to possess himself inside this little kid so he can be reborn again and everything, and they're trying to stop him from doing it and everything. It's creepy, bro, because he's just a doll, so it's like he basically just get you whenever you want. Like, he's there in 1 minute, and all of a sudden he's not there anymore. So you look over, he's right there, and all of a sudden he's gone. So it's like, where'd he go?
Yeah. So it's like, see, I don't watch horror movies, so that's the thing with me. The only horror movies I've watched is It 2017. I watched that one.
I was in theaters when that came out.
And even I don't count. Well, the first one's kind of horror. The first two Alien films, even though Alien is more sci-fi horror, the second Aliens is more sci-fi action. But they both could, you know.
You've never seen like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or anything? Texas Chainsaw Massacre or
you know, that shit's crazy to me, because that could actually happen.
I read about it, and that's the part
that actually happen.
Well, you know the guy Leatherface, right? He's based off. You know who the serial killer Ed Gein is? You ever heard of Ed Gein? He's based off like that guy, the guy who he took people's bodies and he carved them up into sculptures and stuff like that. And because you know how he has people's faces over his face.
Yeah,
that's what the idea of it was. But like, you ever seen like Friday the 13th? No, those are classics. You know, Friday the 13th, Halloween.
Classics all they want. I don't watch them.
Classic movies. Saw, I would recommend Saw. Saw's not really a scary movie.
Freddy Krueger, man.
I do find Freddy Krueger funny, even though I don't watch the movies. I find him kind of funny. I don't watch
1 and 2, he was not funny at all.
Oh,
number 3, they started to slowly make him into.
Oh yeah, 1 and 2, he was fucking brutal, bro. Like,
man.
He was cutting people up in their dreams and everything, bro. It was.
Number 2, he was really ruthless. I found, man.
That's one thing. Even I don't watch him, but I do. Like, you ask me who, like, of all the villains, Freddy Krueger is probably my favorite one, because him or Pennywise, one of the two, because of how unique their kills are. Like, Freddy Krueger, like, goes in your dreams and finds out about you before he kills you, and Pennywise finds out your worst fear. That's why they're my two favorites. Whereas people like Jason and Michael Myers, they're just kind of basic.
They're psychopaths.
Have you guys seen the It Chapter 2, like the remake?
I've seen clips of it. I didn't watch the full movie.
Malik, at the beginning, man, where where the clown fucking kills the gay lover there. I was like, whoa, I did not see that coming. Like right away, like he had no relation to those guys at all.
Have you seen the movie Saw? The Saw movies?
Oh yeah, unfortunately, I saw like 2 or 3 of them. I stopped after 3. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, bro, they're so good, bro. They're hard to watch because they're so gruesome. They're hard to
Oh, they're
watch.
so gruesome, bro. Like as soon as I forget what it was, there was like one kill. There was one kill that like the guy had to put his hands in some like razor blade, like fucking I forget. He couldn't pull it out because that one I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I forget.
They're good movies because they have stories behind them. Because they're like all these people that he captures have like this little backstory. It's crazy, bro. Because like all the stories, plan out to it and everything. But it's like it's gruesome, bro. Like the first, I'll never forget one of the hardest ones I watched. I think it was the second one. It's right in the beginning, bro.
The second one was good. I agree. First and second for me were my favorites.
Right in the beginning, when that dude had his head stuck in like a little trap, like it was like a Venus flytrap, and he had the spikes, and he had to get the key, but the key was inside his eye, so he got to cut his eye out to get the key, and he's like, "Oh,
hell no!"
And the thing shuts right on his face, and he's like, "Bro, what the like?" Right, this is how the movie starts off. I'm like, "Oh my goodness!"
Yeah. And I love it when you're like watching with a friend. Oh, just take your eye out. Oh yeah, just take your eye out. No problem.
Bro, you always see people like, I easily would have done that, bro. You're gonna tell me in that moment you're gonna cut your eye out, bro? Like what? Like you're not gonna do that. Like there's nobody. There's no way.
If my life's on the line, I might do it. I'm gonna do it. Like
there's ones in there where people got to cut off their arm or something like that, or sacrifice other people. Like there was a one. I think it was the fourth one where two people were hooked up to this breathing machine, and every time you breathe, your ribs would get crushed. This thing would crush your ribs, so like you have to hold your breath for as long as you possibly could. So it's like,
what the fuck? That wouldn't work for me because as someone who has asthma, that wouldn't work for me.
Bro, it was like they were on this little thing that hooked up like this, right? And it's like every time you took a breath, the machine would come in closer and closer to your insides. So so you had to hold your breath in for as long as you could, and every time you breathe. So basically, it's between two people, and whoever can't hold their breath in longest get killed. They're gonna die. Basically, your inside's gonna get crushed. It's like this heavy weight too. It's like this big weight pound coming to your wrist. I'm like, bro, like who comes up with these ideas? Like this is insane.
Whoever comes up with those ideas should not be walking the streets, man. Like there's something fucking wrong with you, you know?
It's like those Stephen King movies, man. His movies are pretty wild. Even though his movies are like very interesting, I guess you could say, because he wrote it, and like Shawshank Redemption. You guys see Shawshank Redemption? Shawshank Redemption.
Oh fuck yeah, it's classic.
Yeah, great movie, you know what I'm saying? So he's got good movies, you know what I mean? But it's just like when he writes these movies like Cujo and
once again, that's another movie I haven't seen, but I've read
Shawshank Redemption. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, great movie.
I haven't watched it fully.
Kyron, do me a favor, please. I'm gonna give you some homework before the end of the weekend.
Green Mile.
You have to watch two movies: Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile. Please.
Both those are Stephen King movies, by the way.
Good call.
Yeah, you gotta watch those, man. Those are really good. So hold on, Mountie. Before, because you talking about Kyron and everything, I gotta ask you what name. What's some of the black movies you've seen? Some of the hood movies that you.
Man, I was gonna
tell you. No, wait. Friday and Boys in the Hood don't count.
Yeah, you can't count Friday Boys in the Hood. Everyone's seen those.
Well, I was gonna tell you that like my wife watches a lot of like any sort of black show, black movie, like whatever. She love it. I love it, and I do too. I watch a bunch. Okay, so like movies or just shows. I watch Family Matters. Okay, I'll tell you. I watched religiously growing up. Family Matters and Fresh Prince back to back.
Oh man,
loved it. Cosby Show. Oh man, hang on. What have I seen? So much. Okay, from a movie. Okay, like hood movies. Juice.
Okay.
Man, Above the Rim. Shit. I've seen black and white. I've seen White Boys. I've seen. I'm no particular order here. I'm just things that are coming to mind right now.
Okay, I'll name some and you some. Have you seen Menace to Society before?
Of course.
That one was actually scary. That movie was actually kind of scary.
That's a pretty wild movie. What about let's see, you've already named which ones did you name?
I said Juice and so don't be a menace for sure. I've seen that.
That's a parody at its finest.
What about Baby Boy? You seen Baby Boy before?
Yeah, Tyrese. Hell yeah. I'd see.
Oh,
I love it when he gets his. He goes and say, "Hey, make me some food." And she comes out with the sausage and mashed potatoes or whatever that, or the grits maybe. I don't know. And he's just chilling there. He's just eating. He's like, "Yeah, it's so good."
No, the funniest part of that movie to me was that he got jumped by the kids and had his bike stolen. When he ran into his friend's house, just fell on his friend's door. Ping, ping, and just
You know what's crazy is because there were a lot
I got
of
more coming to me. I got more. Hang on, real quick. What about when his mom's boyfriend was drinking the Kool-Aid? He's butt naked in the kitchen making eggs. He's like, "You want some eggs?"
butt naked in the kitchen with the house shoes on. That's how it's done.
All right, I got more. Okay, I got more. I got 3 Strikes. I've seen 3 Strikes.
Have you seen Higher Learning before?
Higher Lining?
Higher Learning.
No.
It's with Omar Epps and Ice Cube, Tyra Banks.
How do you spell it? What do you say?
Higher Learning.
Oh, Higher Learning. Fuck, I don't know if I've seen that one actually. I'm gonna have to write that down.
Have you seen any of the barbershop movies?
Oh, yeah, of course, man. Classic. What else? Hang on, let me just write this one down. I've seen New Jack City. I've seen.
Have you seen Belly before? That's with Nas.
Of course, yeah. Belly was a great movie. That's why I mentioned also Black and White at Bulworth. Fuck, man, hang on.
You've seen Poetic Justice? Tupac and Janet Jackson.
Maybe a long time ago. Maybe a long time ago.
He named all of them. I can't even think. I didn't think anything really got a name yet.
No, there's others too. There's like really low key ones too that I can't remember right now.
You gotta write down Higher Learning if you haven't seen it. That shit is fun.
Oh, I've also seen some like black romantic sort of comedies too, like The Brothers with
yeah, that's a good one.
4 Brothers I've seen too. 4 Brothers and The Brothers, 2 different.
Oh, have you seen? I gotta go. Have you seen The Wood before?
Yep, The Wood. I've seen The Wood. I saw Soul Food. I saw. I mean, this is a lot. I mean, how much more do I got to prove to you guys?
Oh, you already proved it. You already proved it. You
already proved it. Set it off. Set it off. Set it off pretty good. Set it off.
Set it off is a good one. Set it off is a good one.
Set it off. Obviously, Love and Basketball. I mean, does that qualify? I mean,
Booty Call.
Anything with Maurice Chestnut, I've pretty much seen. Fuck.
Booty Call.
Booty Call.
What's the other one?
I love that movie.
Booty Call was with Mystical, no?
No, the Jamie Foxx and Tommy Davidson.
Yes. That's it.
Players Club's a good one too. If you haven't seen that, Players Club,
100%. I've seen that.
Baby Ace Kids. Listen, that's a cartoon. I think.
Bad Boys movies.
Bad Boys movies, of course.
I actually think the third one was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. When it came out last year, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
The third one was really good. What about I know you've seen the Eddie Murphy movies, like Coming to America.
Coming to America is the best. That's his.
Yeah.
I like fucking Harlem Nights, bro. Harlem Nights is my shit, bro. That is my fucking shit right there. Harlem Nights is my favorite Eddie Murphy movie, bro.
I mean, technically my favorite movie.
Which one? Harlem Nights?
Harlem Nights, Richard Pryor and Rick Flag, but they got everybody in that movie, man.
That sounds like a classic, just from like I ain't gonna lie, like Coming to America is a fucking classic.
Coming to America is great. It's classic.
It's legendary, man.
I remember
Life too. Him and Martin Lawrence. Oh, that's.
I remember watching that movie with my mother and my brother. We was
South Central. You guys seen South Central?
I was gonna bring that one up. I was gonna bring up South Central.
Yeah.
Blood In, Blood Out. That's like, I mean, that's more like Hispanic there, but like that was like gang related and whatnot. But yeah, Above the Rim. You guys ever seen that movie?
Of course, Tupac.
Oh, such a good movie, man. Such a good movie.
Tupac.
Dangerous Minds. Obviously, that was a sick fucking film too.
Dangerous
Love
Minds.
that one.
It's pretty good. Have you shown Kyrie? You also need to write down another movie on your list too. You've never seen Men in Black either. I noticed that. You got to write that down.
When did I say I haven't seen Men in Black?
We did it one time. I thought you said you never seen Black. I was like, you gotta watch that movie.
I think I said like I saw parts of it. I think I said like something like I don't think I've fully seen it, but I've pretty much seen most of it. Like,
and I've seen The Wash. You ever seen that one? Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
How High? I've seen that one too. Bones with Snoop Dogg. I've seen that movie. Like, dude, Save the Last Dance. I've seen it. I went on this like massive kick, bro, for like 5 years of watching. Like I needed to watch all this stuff, man. I was like, yo, this is the bomb. Like I even watched like Hardball with Keanu Reeves. Like I've seen that shit, you know. Like I've seen all of this.
It's funny how my favorite hood movie will always be Friday, even though it's not even a movie that really focuses much on the hood as much as it does the people in the hood. It's like it doesn't show the dangers that much, but Friday has always been like my favorite hood movie.
Hustle and Flow, another good movie I've seen. Coach Carter.
Also,
Coach Carter's the one.
Now we're getting into some of the newer stuff there, but
my favorite hood movie, I don't know, probably me boys.
That's hard.
My favorite Friday movie is Friday After Next for sure. That movie.
I mean, it's Friday. Obviously, to me, Friday is obviously the best of the trilogy. The original was the best one from a pure objective standpoint. In a movie watcher, that's the most completely put together movie. But I don't know, like I love all three of them because I can quote any scene from them in any like you can be in any like in a group of friends and just start quoting a scene from Friday and someone else will finish it. Like you got, I know Malik. You both follow me on IG, but Malik sees my Instagram more. On Christmas, I got off. I worked Christmas Eve. I got off on Christmas Eve. I came in here, and I think right around midnight, I put on Friday the Next because I counted the Christmas movie. And I'm just putting scenes on my Instagram story, just laughing my ass off. Just quote, like, it's just so many scenes. Like, you can name me any scene from Friday movie, now quote it.
Friday, the third one to me is the best one, bro. That shit is so good, bro. The third one, every time I watch it, bro, I've never not laughed when I watch that movie. I mean, I don't care how many times I see it. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, bro, this is such a good movie.
All right, fine. Malik, what's your favorite part from the movie? What's your favorite part from Friday the Next?
Definitely when Mike Epps went up to the old ladies and he started cussing out the old ladies.
No, my favorite part has to be
or when Cat Williams tried to cut that dude.
That was bad. No. The funniest part was after they got robbed by Santa Claus in the alley, and he came in there blowing the whistle, talking to him. We just got Jack man go by Santa Claus. He was tired of fuckers around us. He pulled out a pistol, was like. Oh my God, Les. He said, but you're security guard, buddy. That's why I asked you asked for the two flashlights. That's what the world flashlights going to do.
There's a lot of good movies with a lot of trilogies. I appreciate movies that can have trilogies and keep you invested and make them good. Because sometimes movies they have sequels and the sequel's not as good as the first one. Especially if the first one has a lot of expectations. Because the first ones can be really good. That's why I like Boys in the Hood. I mean, not Boys, but Bad Boys. All three are good to me. I like all three movies.
One thing, I like all three, but that's it. Like, if you ask me to watch them as a fan, I enjoyed all three of them. But if you ask me to look at it as a critic, then Bad Boys 2 isn't really a good movie. If you act from a critical standpoint, it's really not.
What? That's the best one. That's the best Bad Boys.
Don't hear me out. I like the movie. I love Bad Boys 2. I like all the Bad Boys movies. I just say I like it. But if you ask me as a critic, Kyrie, I need you to review this movie and look at the flaws and positives. I would say it's not a good movie. Like, it's too many action sequences. The character moments aren't there. But if you ask me a movie I will sit down and watch for the entertainment, it's Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in a movie together. Of course I'm gonna like it.
Bad Boys 2 is one of my favorite movies.
But I love Bad Boys 2. I don't get it twisted. I love the movie. It's just as a critic, I would say it's not a good movie.
All those movies are good. Same with Fridays, Rockies. Besides 5, Rocky 5 was.
Rocky 5 wasn't good.
But the first 4 Rockies, classics. All
that Tommy Gunn died like not long after that
movie.
Movie, yeah.
I
think he had cancer or something, didn't he?
Did he?
I think so.
What about the Home Alone movies? What do you guys think? Well, the first two, because the other ones don't matter. I'm just talking about the first two Home Alone movies.
The first two are the best ones. Yeah, the first two are the best ones.
I think we all agree.
No, he had AIDS, bro. He had AIDS.
That's
damn, he had AIDS. That sucks, man.
Full blown AIDS. That's what they said. And he was bedridden for almost for over a year, and his wife did not believe that he had it, but yeah, apparently. And then, but hang on a second. Wait, and then they said Morrison's death caused a cardiac arrest resulting from multi-organ failure due to a septic shock caused by Pseudomonas. I don't even know what the fuck kind of infection is that. What the hell does that mean? I mean, it's some sort of like
never heard of it.
Wow. Anyways, so this guy, yeah, he when did he die? In 1990. He died in 2013. Oh, okay, never mind. It wasn't. I'm sorry. I thought it was like shortly after.
That's the year.
That doesn't make any sense. Something's wrong there. Hang on.
What were you saying about? We were talking about Home Alone. So Home Alone.
Anyways, weird.
A lot of people like the second one, but I think the first one's the best one.
I think the first one is the better movie. Even I like. If you ask me, okay, which movie is better, Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2? Home Alone 1 is better. Which movie do I like more? Home Alone 2. That's another thing what I'm saying. Why I say, even though I like one more, I can acknowledge the one is better. Like Home Alone 1 is the better film, but Home Alone 2 I enjoy more.
So what about Rocky?
I already told y'all Rocky 2 is my favorite of all of them. Well, if I'm not counting the Creed movies, but if we're just going up the Rocky movies, then Rocky 2.
Well, so we all got different favorites. 3 is my favorite one for sure.
4. Number 4.
4 is really
Ivan
good.
Drago. Love Ivan Drago.
So what'd you think about the Creed 2 when they brought Drago back?
Sick, man.
I love it. I thought if we count the Creed, Creed 2 is my favorite of any of the Rocky movies.
Oh, so good. So Creed 2 was amazing. I could watch that again and again and again. That was really well done, I found.
That scene when Adonis got knocked down and he got back up and they started playing the Rocky theme, I got goosebumps, man.
Bro, I got goosebumps when his wife was singing him out to the ring. Like, that was sick, man. Like, that entrance, dude, that pumped me up, man. I was like, what? You know?
What's another boxing movie that you like that people? Yeah, okay, I'll name one.
Cinderella Man.
Oh, I was going to say that, bro. Cinderella Man. Oh my gosh, bro. This movie is so good, bro.
Top 10.
That to me, that's behind Rocky. Rocky boxing movies are obviously the best, but that's second. That's right there.
I don't think
I pulled on my heartstrings, man. That movie. That moment, bro. Like Kyron, another one. You gotta watch that one.
You gotta mark that down, bro.
That moment where like they shut off the power because of the he got no money and like the kids and all. I was like, dude, like I cried, man. Like
it's based off a true story. Real guy.
I'll tell you,
James Braden.
Like I said, movies based off true stories hit me in a different way. Like this is one movie that hit me like. Obviously, I'm not counting any biopics, obviously, like things like What's Love Got to Do with a New Edition story. Movie that hit me in the field that was like off of real life. You guys have seen The Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That, like, I mind you, that's the number I was watching with my mother and my brother. And they obviously, those two, they cried during the scene when, at the end when he got the job. Me, the scene that made me emotional was the scene when he and his son was sleeping in the bathroom. That part was sad, man. Will Smith acting in it. Oh God, this scene, like I said, damn, like I don't know what I would do in that situation if I had a kid and I had nowhere to go like that.
No, that was scary, man.
Somebody in the comments wants to know what's your favorite MCU movie.
I'm not gonna count the any Avengers movie because that's too easy. My favorite MCU movie that's not Endgame or Infinity War is Captain America: Civil War, and Black Panther probably number 2.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
But Civil War is my favorite.
Not counting. Well, if I counted the Avengers, it would be Infinity War. But if I'm not going to count the Avengers, I would probably say honestly, if I had to count one that wasn't one, I'd probably say Guardians of the Galaxy for real. I like Guardians of the Galaxy a lot. The first and second one are really good to me. Civil War was also really good. Black Panther, those are really good.
Iron Man.
The first Iron Man was good. The first one.
I really enjoyed Captain America.
The
2011 one. I really enjoyed.
The first X-Men. X-Men.
That wasn't MCU.
Oh, it wasn't MCU too, was it? But I still X-Men was my shit though. The first X-Men was so good, bro.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed. For me, I enjoyed. Well, I've always been a big Incredible Hulk guy, so I enjoyed that movie. But Captain America that came out in 2011, I was impressed. Yeah, I was really impressed with that one.
I would say though, one of the best hands down superhero movies ever is Batman. Dark Knight, bro. That shit is fucking.
Hold up, forget the Dark Knight is my favorite movie of all time. That is my number one
all time.
Yeah, if you ask me, now I'm not gonna say this is a movie I'm gonna sit down and watch 100 times a day because I can't. But if you ask me what's your favorite movie, Calvin, The Dark Knight. Why is that? Because Batman is my favorite superhero. The Joker is not only my favorite supervillain, my favorite character in any media. And Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker was so damn good. Everything about Dark Knight worked for me, and like I just love Dark Knight. This is coming off the heels of Batman Begins, a movie I also love. Dark Knight is my favorite. That's not only my favorite superhero, it's my favorite movie.
I'm not a big like
a big Batman guy.
I'm not a big like. I mean, I'm not a big Batman person myself.
Get out.
That's fucked up, man. I've been a Batman guy since the early '90s.
Batman is my favorite superhero, though. Like,
Batman's alright, but Superman's better. I would say that.
See, no, Superman is not better. I explained.
Superman is better.
Not
and
at
he
all.
never beat Batman would have never beat him in a real fight.
Let me
Ever in
explain.
his life would he
If
ever?
we're going,
Didn't they have a movie? They had a movie on this, no?
They had a movie on it, and Batman won, and Batman would have never beat Superman because Superman's powers are elite compared to Batman's.
and that's exactly why I like Batman more. The fact that Batman doesn't have powers and yet still succeeds, that's why he's my favorite.
But Batman is dope, though. I don't hate Batman. Batman's dope. I like my two favorite Batman movies are Batman Dark Knight and Batman Returns with the Penguin. Those are my two favorite.
Batman Returns, and for me, my favorite Batman movies are The Dark Knight.
The original one was good.
Batman Begins. Yeah, that's number 3. The original was 89.
First one? Damn, man.
89.
The 89 one, too. The 89 one's good, too.
Those are my top 3. A lot of people put Rises up there, but I didn't like Rises. I did not that I hated Dark Knight Rises, but when you're the sequel to my favorite movie, I'm gonna look. Especially, I had high hopes for Dark Knight Rises and didn't fully deliver on that. But
was that the Bane one?
yeah, it wasn't bad. I
thought it was pretty good.
It was good, but it just missed that. It didn't have that same magic that Batman Begins and Dark Knight had.
You don't like Batman Returns?
I like that. I mean,
sure.
I like Batman Returns.
Penguin, Catwoman, bro. Come on.
I love the atmosphere. The film's atmosphere and music is amazing. But
because it was similar to number 1 in a way. You know, it had that dark theme there.
Maybe too, because I like Marvel more than DC too. But there are some DC movies that are like Wonder Woman. The first one was really good. Wonder Woman was really good. I like Suicide Squad. I liked.
See, the thing with the Batman, it's a Batman franchise in general. I love because my favorite movie is a Batman movie. My favorite cartoon of all time is Batman the Animated Series, and my favorite video game is Batman Arkham City. So it's like I love the Batman franchise because Batman, like, then everything I love is Batman related. And one thing why Batman is my favorite superhero is also because I think Batman I think we all agree, has the best villains. Batman has the best villains of any superhero. Think about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like no one can disagree.
Riddler, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Two-Face, Joker, Bane.
It keeps going. Like scary.
So many of them. Yeah,
I'm not gonna disagree with you on that.
That's another reason why Batman is my favorite because he goes against the most interesting characters. Like Superman doesn't really have a lot of interesting roles. Like
he does. I'm talking about
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like one-on-one power-wise. Like power-wise, his powers.
Because Batman doesn't have powers. That's the thing. Batman doesn't have powers. He just uses his abilities and his abilities and his knowledge. That's why he's my favorite because that I think that's what makes him more interesting to me. Like he has the backstory that I love. Also, he made himself a superhero without powers, just using his money and his mind.
That's true. He's creative. I mean, Batman's very creative. You know what I mean? But like my favorite superhero is Thor. Thor's my favorite. Thor's always been my favorite superhero. Spider-Man was up. That's everybody. As a kid, he was always fun.
I think as a kid, everyone loved Spider-Man the most. But as I got older,
though, I would say my favorite would definitely be Thor. Probably Thor. I love Aquaman. Aquaman was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Everybody give their top 5, but then I gotta go after that. I want to hear your top 5 favorite superheroes or supervillains, whatever.
I
would
say Thor, Spider-Man.
Wait, who?
Thor, Spider-Man, Aquaman.
Two more, man. 2 more.
Are we counting supervillains too, or just superheroes?
Let's just go with superheroes.
Okay, so those 3 for sure. Black Panther. Oh, just one more. Oh, that's tough, bro.
I know, man.
If I had to pick one more, I'm gonna say Doctor Strange.
See, I don't read comic books, so I'm just going off cartoons, movies, and video games here. Batman. I got Batman, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and probably I said Batman, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and I probably I'd say damn. I want to go Black Panther, Black Panther, then Spider-Man.
I gotta change it. I gotta change my list. I gotta look at this right now. Thor, Wolverine for sure. I forgot about Wolverine. Wolverine is my fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Thor, Wolverine, Silver Surfer. Gotta throw him in there. Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was like my favorite as a kid, so I gotta show love Spider-Man.
Gotta have
And
love for him.
then I would say Aquaman. He's my favorite DC character. So
All right. So I got no. I don't know in any order. I can't really do it, but Wolverine, 100%. Love him. Always have. Incredible Hulk. I've always been a massive Incredible Hulk guy. Loved him. I'd say I got to throw in Batman. Love Batman. So what do we have? We have, and then you guys are gonna laugh, but like these two guys I really liked, and I think it's just preference, right? Like, yeah, there's tons of superheroes out there that are way better, but for me, I always cling to Colossus and Nightcrawler. Those, I don't know, for some reason I was like obsessed with like Nightcrawler, Colossus, Wolverine, Hulk, and probably Batman would be my fifth one, I would say.
I think someone I gotta also give an honorable mention to. He's not always a hero; he's more of an anti-hero. But I kind of Deadpool was always someone I love. I literally got the Deadpool game, not even for the gameplay. Not saying the gameplay is bad, but it's because if you ever get the Deadpool game, it is fucking funny as hell. Like there's literally a scene in the game where Deadpool, if you keep hitting the square button, Deadpool will constantly keep slapping Wolverine back and forth while he's knocked out. And even at one point, he says that's because the player keeps hitting the button. Like,
I gotta throw out Martial Manhunter too, man. Martial Manhunter. As far as villains though, Galactus.
Let's go top five villains, and then I gotta leave.
Galactus for sure. Dark Phoenix. Thanos. I love Thanos. Dr. Doom.
Oof, nice one.
And if I had to pick one more. Come back to me. I gotta think.
I'll come to you.
See, mine is mostly gonna be a lot of Batman villains. I'm gonna be honest. But I got obviously number one is Joker. Joker is my favorite character in anything. Number two is Thanos. I gotta go Joker. I gotta go Thanos. Damn, it's kind of tough after that. Joker, Thanos. Damn. Joker, Thanos. I'll probably have to throw Killmonger.
Okay.
The Riddler.
Ooh, nice.
And Harley Quinn.
Okay. So I gotta go. For me, I would go Magneto. I would do Joker. I gotta throw Apocalypse in there. Dr. Doom, I think, makes my top 5. And after that, I would probably go. Oh man, it's a tough one. Red Skull was fucking sick, but I don't know if he's in my top 5.
Yeah,
Juggernaut. Oh, I know. Okay, Sabretooth, 100%. Love Sabretooth.
I was okay. So Dr. Doom, Galactus, Thanos, Dark Phoenix for sure. Red Skull, Ultron. I'm gonna say Ultron. I like Ultron. Kang, I like Kang too. Kang the Conqueror.
Okay.
I like Red Skull. Red Skull was sick too. So obviously, Dr. Octavius too. I mean, fuck, there's so many. You know what I'm saying?
I like Doc Ock in Spider-Man too. Doc Ock was pretty good in Spider-Man too.
There's so many. I mean, that could be in there, but
Shredder. Can you put Shredder in there? Yeah.
Yeah. Shredder could be in there.
Bro, I'm gonna redo mine. I'm gonna do Shredder. I'm gonna do Magneto, Apocalypse, Sabretooth, and Joker. That's how I'm gonna leave this podcast. Boys, it's been a pleasure. Yeah.
Yes. 2 hours, man. We've been on for over 2 hours, man.
2.5, just chilling, man. This was fun. So hopefully we can get back on track with the drafts and check in on Conrad. Hopefully he's doing okay.
Yeah, I'll give you guys an update on my hand.
Yeah, please do.
I'm gonna text you guys tomorrow and see what everybody's schedule's looking like for next week. We'll talk to Conrad too, see what he's looking like. See how things are feeling with him. Try to get a hold of. I haven't been able to get a hold of Mark or Sean lately, so I don't know if they're going through stuff or they've got personal things going on. But I'm gonna try to get a hold of them and see what they got going on too. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know, man. I'm available.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I'm available.